Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tarkov Arena Epic Game Showcase brought to you by the ASPL in collaboration with Pandaric. We've got a ton of epic games, but first, I got to introduce one of Tarkov's most epic casters in the business, one of the best, Crack Wisdom. How we feeling today, brother?
Oh my, I've got to say it is an absolute pleasure to be able to sit alongside the other legend within the scene, the mustache that everybody is absolutely familiar with when it comes to the amazing action and all of that top tier hype yelling that comes along with it. Ladies and gentlemen, it would not be anything without the man, the myth, and the legend, the rat's on top himself, Hot Sauce. And today we're going to be yelling about some amazing content. Shout out to Panderic, as Hot so wisely said, for bringing this amazing event to you guys at home. And also a tip of the hat, ladies and gentlemen. It's a momentous occasion, so crazy that people have been saying things such as it's breathed life back into the game. This is the thing that we needed to see to save Tarkov. Okay, so a little round of applause, I think, and a due respect to Battle State Games and all of the hard work done in the background for the Battle Pass and the bits that have come along with it. We are delighted to be able to bring you the release of the Epic Games Showcase. And Hort, we have got so much entertainment to be able to showcase for them today.
The fans have been shouting out loud, and BSG has been listening. So it's great to see this battle pass, some of the skins, all the extra action here that we've got to offer. But we've got a handful of great games for everybody here today. Starting off with the B Pan or the baby pandas taken on off, which I know you're a little bit familiar with. I saw one of your squads and you going up against them maybe a week or two ago. But a lot of great action, and honestly, we're looking for more teams as well. You know, if you've got 5-man roster or 5-woman roster, it doesn't matter. A 5 total plus a sub there as well. And of course, you need a little bit of a logo to go on, but we can always work on that. You've got until April 18th to sign up so that you can compete in the ASPL, and you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to the season ahead of here. And, again, it's just great to see other people that might not quite be ready for that pro scene now having an opportunity to showcase some of that talent.
Yeah, even encourage somebody as daft as myself to take a step out of the chair to jump into one of these teams and get a little bit of a stick in the fighting action. People have been claiming to have us fighting for way too long from the casting chair. So, well, you asked, and I think 4 to 6 other members of the community harangued me into doing it. All right. Heavily against my will, I shall have this put out here, but the outcasts have been formed. All right. So, if you guys at home think you've got what it takes, you want to come and take me on, knock me down a peg or two. You want to come and show us what you guys have got to bring to the arena scene. The 18th of April, not the beginning, all the way to the end of it. So even on the 18th, if you guys come together as a last minute decision, we're still looking for teams, okay? Go find yourself 5 friends, all right? We need you, 4 main roster members, a sub, and a logo. But like I said, we've got many artists within the group here. We can help you out if you need to get a logo sorted. That we can do. You bring the bodies, and we'll bring the budget artwork. All right. We're looking forward to see many of you competing, and we want to see a full tournament. But that's just game one. From there, we're gonna step it up, not a little bit. I think, I'm not even sure if we could see the gap between this here, but we're gonna get to see two of the best teams in the world duking it out in match number two. Hot, who have we got featured for our second game for the day?
Well, that new roster of Pandaric Apex, which you might formerly known as the Oil Riggers, but take it on Sicario. Both of these teams, I mean, obviously we know Sicario. They have dominated the last 2 seasons that I've watched. Really, nobody's been close in that round differential. So, Oil Rigs had a decent shot in this most recent one. Unfortunately, they did have 2 separate games where they had to suffer an FF. So they fell to third this season, but second in the previous, third in this one with a strong shot against Sicario. The day that they had the mishap where one of their players couldn't get loaded in and they had to FF one of those early maps was actually against Sicario as well. So we didn't really get to see him clash like we wanted to in the HPL. But guess what? We got him back here today, baby, for an absolute epic showcase of a battle. And as excited as I am for that one, I'm almost equally, if not a little more excited for that final one on the day because there's been a lot of roster changes, organizations making moves on these players here. And so a lot of great steps and strides in the right direction.
Yeah, and rash and hasty decisions is where unforced errors come out. So before we even consider the concept of our third Clash of the Titans today. We're going to give you a little notification that there is a channel point pitch up on the table, ladies and gentlemen. Go stand over by the lemonade stand. Go get yourselves on the betting stall, okay? Get your channel points submitted as to who you think is going to take it away in the first game of the day, all right? Your two teams going up against each other. Baby Panderic going up against only 4 frags. The squad you did see my team, the Outcasts, taking off against a couple of weeks ago, as Hort so wisely said on that Wednesday showcase match, alongside many others that are going to be coming, folks, all right? The ASPL has given us a gift that is continuing to keep giving, with many entertaining matches weekly and other things such as this Epic Games Showcase, thanks to the Panderic's work. All the pandas in the background, I mean, they're everywhere right now, Hort. They're invading the desk. They're invading the podcast. They're bringing the jungle to town, and it's an absolute pleasure to see. Cannot honestly thank the pandas enough for all of the hard work that they're doing and everybody that turns up to see it. So, with all of that in mind, let's now talk about that third match, because the one thing that's consistent through all of our games today, Hort, is it's Panda Gauntlet.
Absolute pandemonium, as we love to say back here.
You've got
But
3 bonkers games, and it's just going to step up again and again and again. I mean, skill levels down to the eye of the beholder, but when it comes to pace, Hort, I think we would all agree that the slowest game is going to be our first. The EU scene considered to be constructive, complex, but not quite quick to the chase as our second. The NA scene on the flip side, well, it's guns up, heads to the wall, let's shove it through as quickly as we can and dominate through aggression. Would you agree?
yeah, and I heard him talking about that on one of your other podcasts, but I don't know. Like, for the most part, I would agree, but you take a look at the new Panderic Apex squad, and Cacao and them are just so aggressive, even on defense as well. But we'll have to touch base on that a little bit later, because these players are wasting no time to get right into the action. You talked about the aggressiveness. We're already seeing it here, starting off on Skybridge again, a site, that more common site. Those smokes into the lanes are important, but Crackler with a crazy snipe to start things off. Wicked will return one here as well, but we know Crack loves a little bit of sniping himself.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an interesting concept here, though, running on one of those DMRs rather than the Bolty to give yourself a little bit more flexibility being tapered by the bolt reload or the limitations in that kit. Casbu, however, is making damage dealt down into doubles as he claims himself an absolute belter of a pickup onto the second member from Only for Frags. Now, smoke on E-Box. Darkin's going to find a pick elsewhere into Casbu. That rifle now shut down.
Now we hear the shots ringing out from Cryptori. He's able to find Darkin, but it's Dansker to find Nomadic, and he gets a second one as well onto Ignatus, so able to bring it right back. Now all down to Cryptori. They've got the player advantage, and they know where Cryptori is here as well. You can hear those shots peppering that wall in front of them there as well, and we saw your squad play very well on this map against Off, as Dansker will find that one. I think you guys went to overtime even, but Off, an incredibly talented team here, so I'm really excited to see what they've got to offer here in the scene.
Yeah, it shows a little bit that they've also adjusted to a similar thing that they almost picked up from playing against us in that match. A very slow and composed defense on Skybridge does allow you more potential to retake than if you get multiple picks knocked off whilst you're trying to contest for a site that might not necessarily be yours. You know, somebody gets knocked over, and that domino effect where kills 4 through 2 go down very quickly, one after the other, as a cause of effect from the initial point of contact. So OFF playing the defensive start. Just point to note, the nade coming out of spawn here, this is like almost a disrespect nade. This is a test of the limits. So the early hole nade, something that doesn't get thrown all the time. Now you see it delayed and thrown late as they waited it out first. They're going to respect it again. They do. So Baby Pan sort of test the time. Yeah, a newer team respecting the disrespect nade if they go for an early aggressive push. Good to see out of the B-Pan squad. Some good discipline, but that's going to be a little bit of a mistake. Wicked catches Sassy on the timing, and now he's over for the second. Here's third. Oh boy. Wicked's playing with his life, but it doesn't matter. He can go down here after 2 and still be happy.
Oh, not able to get that third, as you had mentioned, but already the damage done. Finding 2 as Cryptori will find that pick. 2 on the day now for Cryptori. Dan Skewer top, just being patient here, cautious of that VIP area as we see Casbu and company starting to linger forward, and Cryptori finding a nice pick on the race here, so they'll bring it back to a 3v3 as they look to pick up the device and smoke off some of these lanes. And the spear, I mean, it's been a weapon of choice for a lot of these players in a lot of the leagues, and we're certainly going to see a few of those here today.
It's an interesting one. The new changes with the Metastorm makes your spear have a lot less economy when it comes to the ammo you can carry now. Bomb being planted on the side. Go in and try to pick that up. That's a great kill as Kazbu goes to the moon off that bomb. Cryptori's going to pick one up on the back of that as Darkin does get banished to the Shadow Realm himself.
Once again, just slowing things down a bit. Cryptori lingering VIP here, but Off knows what they've got to do. They just want to do it methodically here as well, trying to pressure forward and look to take this pick together. Cryptori might spot the barrel there. Shot bringing out from Ignatus here as well. Now on the peak, and Cryptori, a beautiful headshot. Mike fires back onto Ignatus though, and it brings us right back to a 1v1. Health bars relatively equal here as well. They're going to play a little bit of game of cat and mouse now.
This is probably the most skilled players in this of either side in my mind, as Mike the Liar absolutely obliterates Cryptori in that 1v1 there. This is something that's going to come down to it though, as Cryptori played his life so well in positioning, and even though the kill goes down, but back to the action, Hawk, we're rolling on into round number 3.
Out there looking for Lilith. Gotta find it, but B-Pan off, tying up at 1. Early utility once more as they look to gain a lot more space here again, and it's Off gathering a lot of this space and intel here early. They're up into a really advantageous position, but again, Cryptori from that VIP area has been having a field day. Already 5 on the board, but it's Ignatus to go down first here to raise, and gotta wonder if they're a fan of Valorant as well, or if the name maybe just is a random one. On the peak there, finding some shots as well. We'll begin to pressure forward here just a bit. Over by KFC, that smoke in the way there, but not sure if they're aware that there are a few members prone. Doesn't even see the one right to the right here as well. Raze finds the pick, and he's literally laying right next to him. Nomadic eventually will spot him, finds one, can't get the second one here as well, but the peak from Mike will find the pick on to Nomadic, and it'll be right back into the favor of Off.
Just feel a little bit like 2 or 3 people got a little bit lost inside the sauce there. Hey, there were a few of them that were just not quite understanding who was who and what color was what. That little change, the quality of life fix that now everybody on the opposite side is always wearing a red armband. Might have slightly stumbled to a couple of players inside of this one. The bullets and the storm, the boom lands on point as Kazbu says boo to Darkin and runs up on him from behind. Bomb is now going to be planted with good support in lane 1. Kenshi's in the right place, but is the timing unfortunate as he looks away from the someone that we know there's pressure on top blue. Mike hits belting shots into Kazbu after he takes the point with strength.
Now they continue to work with that player advantage, but Kenshi able to answer back here and find Wicked. So player advantage still in favor of Off. They've spotted Kenshi here as well, and so it's going to be a little bit easier for them to deactivate that device. Going to maybe bait out that diffuser there as well. And we can see Kenshi doing a good job of baiting that pre-fire. Knows that he's off the device for the time being, but Dan up top waiting patiently. And it's good to see other people having a lot more success with the M80. For whatever reason, it just doesn't seem to work for me. But a good third round here from Off. And so they'll take the lead once more.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is where Danska comes through with one of the strengths for the OFF side that not many teams can attest to having. A player that's very successful and skillful on the DMR. It brings a different playstyle to the game. You don't limit yourself as much as you do on that TRG or one of the bolt options that people are very favouring at the moment. Something to do with the new bullets that have come in. We'll talk about them a little bit later on if it does get selected, but for now, you can't do that on a bolty, you know? You can't hold that angle aggressively from the top of blue and put multiple shots down, because if you miss the one shot, it's done. Whereas the DMR, early trade comes one apiece for both sides in this one.
All right, I didn't know they added guns to that, but there we go up top. There's that replay we were looking for as Dan Skewer finds Kenshi. So Off again, winning that third round, able to take a little bit of a lead here, but not quite into that breathing room just yet. We can see in this round, Ignatus, Kenshi have already fallen here. Kazbu on the jiggle, trying to find something happen.
Oh, this is going to be this little prone peak is perfect as well, because you can stay there all night long, and Kazbu is not thinking about it now. The way of Sassy is doesn't quite make the shots go through. Wicked claims that one, and that's the end of the round. OFF move to 3-1.
Oh, a great start for them. And honestly, I felt like they at times struggled a little bit on Skybridge when they were facing your squad. I know that next game definitely favored them, but it seems like they've, maybe been putting in a little bit of work and a little bit of practice since those previous games as well. Because not having as much trouble to start things off. Obviously, on defense, I feel like here on Skybridge, things can be a little bit easier on that defensive side. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself until we do see him perform just as well on the offensive side of things here. But unfortunately, maybe a bit of a mishap here. There we go. We're going to get kicked off now. But back into round number 5 we go, and already some early picks coming out.
Yeah, First blood from both sides are down. Ignotus and Kazbu team up for a double. Dansker, however, is going to pick up Ignotus on the back end of that action. VIP, flash onto site, causes Nomadic Sassy to whip and tuck to try and avoid next to the model on the heads-up display is going to tell us a different story. Dansker, Darkin, the last two left alive as the bomb has now been planted with 45 on the top. A lot of work to do. That jump through is very aggressive and is going to catch Kazbu out without his gun up.
Well, Darkin is going to find a nice pick here onto Nomadic as he pops the head, and with that, it's all down to Cryptori yet again. If I was a betting man, I'd bet he'd be over toward VIP. Cryptori kind of plays in this, and we saw that in the Panda Cup as well on block there, really always kind of playing near that spot, and so very comfortable here in the VIP area. Unfortunately, not going to be able to prevent that defusal coming in, and Dan Skewer will eventually get that consolation prize, but all of a sudden off, beginning to pad the rounds here in bunches.
A second to settle as we look around from either side's worth of the actions. Bullets are currently held in the pockets whilst everyone picks up all the utility to take out alongside those colourful pencils to put power in the bloodstream while pushing onto site or defending it. Right now, OFF have themselves a 3-round advantage thanks to some great strength out of Wicked at a 7 and 4 KD. Mike also rocking that 6 and 1 alongside Dansker on the 5 and 1. Across the OFF squad, 2 of them here in the first DMR taking work aggressively. IP push picks up the second as Nutters has Wicked for the first. Raise going down there 2 already for BPAN, and a really strong start to round number 6.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we need from BPAN. They need to find to get a relatively quick response here because Off has been dominating at the moment. Is Dark able to pick up Ignutus here as well, but Nomadic quick to find a pick of their own onto Mike the Liar, and with that we see Dansker and Dark up back here. This lane mostly smoked off here, but there is a bit of room. Unfortunately, BPAN has already snuck a member up 4 there, so I'm not sure if Dark is exactly aware of that. Boosting up top, Dark is going to find Nomadic there as well, and so from a 4v2 to a 3v2 we go.
Not in a terrible position, if I'm going to be honest with you, though. Dansker has a lot of potential to make this happen here. The VIP pick and the right weapon to do it is also possible. One potential fall back down. The timing is slightly unfortunate from the camera's perspective, but we do have from sight to VIP also going down at the same time. Dansker 1-2 KFC with that quick double tap trigger action is going to make himself some space, but not within enough time to be able to defuse this bomb. So he simply has to hold his life, and he is then going to swing out to complete the round, claiming it with a kill.
Yeah, a beautiful job here. Got a little sketchy toward the end, but BPAN doing what they need to do. We see him cut that lead in half, and we're going to take another look at this one here. They had that player advantage to work with, and they were able to utilize it to a T here. Dan was popping off early in this one, finding a ton of kills, and including that nice 2-piece right there. But Cryptori, once again, locked down on the VIP, will be the VIP of that round.
Great use of that weapon from Dansker, 7 and 2, playing the range well, working to that weapon's capabilities. Not sure that both teams here have selected particular kits that we thought we would see given the meta and what everybody has been talking about, but the spear still showing strong as Darkin is going to pick up the first, and that's Captain Cryptori that's currently taking a rest from round number 7.
You know, what the other team's doing here, unfortunately, not going well for Nomadic. Dark on the Eagle Peak just pressures forward fearlessly. Mike on the other side of things was able to find a pick of their own, and now it's Ignutus and Kenshi all alone here in a 5v2. Already the spray coming in from up top here. The spray is good. Mike's able to find Kenshi. Ignutus tucked in between. A difficult spot here. Dan Skewer will skewer the competition. With that, they'll again continue to put rounds on in the lead here, and so 5-2 current score line here. I think 8 already for Dan Skewer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like the person popping in the tongue piercing managed to skewer the tongue to the bottom of Hawk's mouth there for a second. We're doing
Right?
tripping and tackling midway through the talking. That's not fair. Flag on the play. Foul from the bench. Casters are not allowed to be crippled whilst the action's kicking off. That being said, this is just some great work being shown out of the OFF side. I mean, they are definitely looking to be one of the stronger contenders for this Arena Semi-Pro League when it kicks off very soon in the future. That being said, the Baby Panda squad are doing a great job of being wholesome for the majority of time. It's just that final finishing blow for the Pandas that seems to be lacking at the moment. Now 1v1 again as Cryptori and Wicked are going to trade one apiece.
Trades come back and forth here to a 4v4. Ignatus and Cruz displaying a bit of patience is Nomadic. We'll take out Mike here, and with that, we'll give him the upper hand. Cosmo from downtown finds a beautiful nade and looks for a second. Can't quite get it as Dan Skewer will find Ignatus. A long working flank coming in here, though, and they've got to be aware. I don't think they are, and it's dark to find the first one as the device goes down.
Actually so close to being able to find the shot. Oh my word, Darkin finds the second. The first was good, but the second was delightful. Domes dealt damage down on the point. Kenshi's going to pick up a lone straggler and now turn it into a 1v1. Kenshi actually has the advantage in tempo on this. Health is in his favor. The only thing working against him is that he has to be the one planting the bomb. Darkin does not know where he is from the looks of it now, and he's going to have to clear all the corners. He's going to soft check. Kenshi can try and bait it. Great timing from Kenshi. Outplayed insanely well by some good read on the timing from Kenshi there.
Great job by Kenshi as they'll gather an MVP of their own, finding a double on that round and clutching it up here. So not a terrible job. 3 rounds on that attacking side. So still feasible for them to pull it back here and win this one as we get ready to swap sides.
Yeah, and we got to see there from the instant replay that amazing grenade being pulled off from Casboo. VIP to Rat, up and over, a nice little underarm, delicate delivery system. They pop the explosive egg underneath the knees of the unwanting receiver. That Rat player no longer allowed to take part, and that helps leverage VPAN some area in front of them from KFC so they're not trapped in the corner, and eventually leads to that 1v1 that Kenshi plays extremely well to claim the round. Gap closed now to 2. OFF still in the lead, but only 5-3 now.
Yeah, and if an early round win here, I mean, could put them just one away from tying it up. That nade going just a bit deep there as well, dangerously close. And we see Raze did take a little bit of damage, but once again, Nomadic getting up here into this good positioning at mid, but already picked off from Wicked on that Ash 12 here from VIP. So Wicked maybe swapping weapons out. I don't think we had the Ash 12 at the start of this one. Does look like the device is going to go down here. A good early start here. Now they just got to defend it. They've got the player advantage, and they found a way to get it down early. Kenshi lingering on the other side of the smoke, just waiting for it to dissipate. You can see on the mini-map just the squad of off members there waiting patiently, and they even have one watching that flank back there as well. So they've certainly come prepared. It seems like they've got a game plan, and right now executing it well.
This is what I was interested in, though. I was hovering a little bit for a second there, as that deep player from OFF at the moment is not actually contributing too much to this site. They have the numbers down. It's got the Manik and Dansker on this SP6 with the SR3M is doing absolute wonders for the team's space. Now reduced to 2. BPAN are going to have to fight tough and hard. 1-1 finds themselves with a great one here, but we are currently revisiting what looks like that great little play we saw earlier on with Darkin in the 2-piece.
Man, Dan, I think he had a 4K on that round.
It was a wild, wild round, but it's the scout classes again, though, Hort. So this is what I was going to say. The Ash 12-2 you so rightly pointed out, okay? Move to the scout tree. PS12B is only on scout now. You can't get it on assault anymore, but it's very expensive. So you're probably going to see that scout player either having only 3 mags. We actually see him running 4 here, or being very, very slim on another part of the kit. Probably not very many meds or armor choice specifically to be able to fit lots of bullets within that scout class.
The nade was dangerously close there as well, and you continue to see him kind of rain down around. It'd be Wicked to find the first one with the Ash 12 as Ignatus does pick up on to Darkin here as well, and rocking that SP6 ammo as well. Another one of the top tiers, able to put the opposing enemy down with ease, so to speak. But maybe a bit of a rotation this time from off, which we really haven't seen too much from either of these teams yet here today. It seems like once they decide to go to the site, they're pretty committed. So it's nice to see a bit of a rotation coming in.
They don't see the people like we do, and that person on the back end of the blue train got very fortunate to time themselves falling off the back of that before Raze was able to find the shot. Pressure coming down as the person in front of them is also unable to land shots onto Raze there. For a moment, I was that confused as to how they did not find a home. I lost who it was. Ignatus here on that box challenge. Now on board with Mike, who has felt themselves having that head shaken too. Concussed icon and a little bit of damage taken, but not knocked out. There's Raze conversing on that pick onto Ignatus that we were looking for, Hort. And is that the chance for the bomb to go the other way?
Yeah, I mean, they've really been going back and forth, but honestly, you have a decent amount of time to work with. So I like when teams are able to play a little bit more patient here. And Ray's finding that pick onto Cryptori should open things up a bit, but Nomadic is lurking in the shadows. They find Mike, and with that, it's all down to Raze, who doesn't have a ton to help to work with here as well.
This is going to be a tough fight. There's very, very minimal places that, yeah, either Nomadic or Kazbu are going to be right now with the bomb down. The time is just going to run out, and that's going to be a B Panderic round. Smartly so, Nomadic, Sassy, and Kazbu decide not to fight for it after, well, there is a good conversation about rotating to site and from site, right? Hawk juggling up, keeping it different, trying to keep your opponent guessing as to where to put the majority of your defending force. There's also an overcooked scenario, and I feel like OFF there got caught a little bit between two mindsets where they wanted to maybe force and fake a rotation, but then in committing to that rotation, they end up getting caught out as they didn't expect to, and then find themselves a little bit startled where to go next.
All problems you have to learn to deal with on the fly, and we'll see what team is able to do that just a little bit better here on Skybridge. We often say it, you got to adapt, react, and overcome, and Wicked starting out nicely here to find that first pick on to Kenshi. And once again, it's off, working with that player advantage, the nade over the top, and oh, how is he still standing from that? That was so close, but somehow comes away unscathed.
Cole Cryptor in the gap, one of his 9 lives has been taken. Second and the third probably being shaved off there by the bullets of Darkin, but still not being able to find the 9. Crucial one to be able to knock the cat down, apparently. Cool, calm, and collected Victoria inside the action. Able to dip, dodge, dive, dodge, and all the other Ds to be able to get away from that damage from the grenade. More being thrown still. And yet one more smoke goes out. Oh, Wicked finds that PS12 B pick again, though. Ash 12.
Patches O'Houlihan teaching lifelong lessons that can be used out here in Tarkov Arena even. Again, off has that player advantage still, and Dan Skewer only upping the ante as they find another pick. Kazbu, Ignatus alone here, and Kazbu rocking one of these kits that Rapid was talking about with the marksman class with his sidearm as the Uzi. Ignatus still finding one. Kazbu another onto Mike, and Ignatus, Kazbu steps into the crossfire and gets taken out by the teammate. All of a sudden, the tides get turned. Dan Skewer finds Ignatus and off wins that round off of maybe a series of unfortunate events there for the B-Pan side.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lemon Snicket stepping in and saying that's just not cricket. B-Pan going to be shaking their heads off of the back of that one. Probably not too dissuaded, actually, Hawk. Going to think in the concept of absolutely a mistake made, but they were trying to battle buddy system and pick a person together. I like the mentality. It's a good idea, just a little bit lax in the execution there. Like you said, and the bullet finds a home in the back of the dome of the teammate rather than the enemy they were looking for. We all meme about the extra 60% accuracy to teammates, so we know he was fighting unfair odds, but it is what it is as we roll on now into round number 12.
60% of the time, he kills them all the time. But Nomadic, the 2K, the Kobe is good for 2. And that's one hell of a way to start out the round here for B-Pan as Mike and Raze go down. Wicked looking to even the playing field just a bit. We'll seek that vengeance onto Nomadic, who took out the teammates there. So the Ash 12 continues to put in work here on Skybridge.
Yeah, you can hear the sound of that grenade as it left the hand of the player and landed in the middle of the site. Sounded very much like womp womp as 2 people hit the floor. Now, Wicked finds a pick with the Ash 12 at the exact coincidental timing that another piece of lethal utility goes off in the background, confusing us slightly, but not confounding the audience. Ignatus has a response, and OFF find themselves down a player in the numbers. but actually with good site access, control from VIP, pressure in the scenario. Baby Panderic doing a great job here, Hort, actually, to wait this out. I think hold the smokes, wait the time, 45 on the clock, and then a retake together. You see the deep member holding from jungle, and you can see the battle buddy system that's going to start working its way across. Actually, deep member and 90 is going to team up, and they're going to 3-man swing this. Ooh. Free swing.
Oh, that
It's
is
just too
tough.
good.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that maybe if they both would have came through the center lane here as Wicked finds Cosbu, but the fact that two went on that far alley there where they were really set up to defend it. I mean, they had the fire from VIP as well as on point. So able to find and isolate those first two picks, allowing that final one a bit easier as we see right there at the end. Wicked just able to step out of VIP. Great situational awareness knowing that they were there and close to that right side. So off will go up to match point here early. They've doubled that lead and now have 4 additional opportunities to close this one out.
And it's a great effort from Deepan. You can't really question the motive there. The only thing down to it, again, is the execution. OFF read the swing well. They call out the timing of both them, react to each other, refrag and pick, but it ends up both fights going in their favor. And 2-0 in a 3v2 leaves it in a very, very dire straits. Really up to the right time, but the wrong timing as Wicked then swings further on to claim that aggressive push. Sight now reclaimed as Ignutus takes that ground back from Wicked after a good rechallenge in VIP. Kenshi on a BCT FMJ is going to pick it up. Mike for the response. We're going down like dominoes, Hort. 3v3 left on the table.
Playing the old game of bones here. And speaking of bones, Dan Skewer will leave a body of bones left laying in the background there as Darkin finds Nomadic. And Dan Skewer has just been on an absolute tear. I mean, we have a few players in double-digit kills, but not as many with as little deaths there as Dan Skewer. 18 and 4 on that map. So an absolute phenomenal job by the off squad there to take map number 1. But BPN still got another chance here. There's multiple maps, well, just 2, but they got at least one more chance to do the dance and find a little dub.
Yeah, there's definitely more time on the table for them to be able to take a point away from the OFF squad. Maybe Panderic made a good effort at it, and we saw actually Hort 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, arguably, where BPAN had themselves in a good position, potentially favoured in the scenario after the chaos settled, where a couple of misplays or a couple of little bits of pressure, gunfights that didn't necessarily go the way, and that's Tarkov, baby. Sometimes you are going to go into fights and you're going to execute flawlessly, and the gunfights aren't going to go in your favour. So the BPAN squad will be happy, right? They've walked away, maybe not a winner, but definitely a learner. Lots of points to pick up on and improve on as they go into their next game.
Yeah, honestly, there was a couple of those rounds that could have gone either way, but as you said, that's just the way Tarkov goes. Sometimes we saw a couple of those minor mistakes that kind of came back to haunt him, and that Off was able to capitalize on. But that's the nice thing about this 2-game series is you have a quick moment here now to take a deep breath and reset mentally as you get ready for this next map, and even talk about some things that you might have seen. Hey, they're very aggressive on this one side, or they always send at least one flanker. And so there's little mental notes that you could have taken throughout Skybridge as well that could certainly help you here in this next map as well.
The one thing that's definitely very common is Danska and Rays feel very comfortable on these marksman rifles on that defending side. And it's definitely down to the amount of pressure they can put out, okay? You've got DMRs there that, whap, 20 to 25 bullets, depending on the magazine you're running alongside of it, is a lot of pressure. I'm not sure you can actually get those 25s anymore in the marksman class. I think it's only 20s now, given the update. But it's 20 M80s or M80A1, whatever you choose to put in there, and you can have up to the highest pen, and it really does do damage. So I think that the pressure that OFF are finding on that defending side is definitely their strength. The attacking side seemed to be the part where BPAN found themselves some more opportunities, and they definitely had a good perspective on their own retake, I think. BPAN showed that that slower defense is definitely available, but again, not trying to criticize in any way, shape, or form, but BPAN were only short a few executional errors. That's it, really. Otherwise, that's an extremely close game all the way down to the tie.
That's right. And if you take a look in chat there, guys, up above, that prediction is ready to be had. So spin those points, gamble a little bit with us, and let us know who you think's going to win this next map. I feel like teams are probably going to favor off a little bit after that strong performance, but That's the great thing about Tarkov is we've seen certain teams perform, not as well on a map and then come out and just completely dominate on a different map. Even though all of these players are pretty comfortable with all these maps, they've been out for a while. Some just execute their game plan a little bit better on others. So for me, BPAN, looking at that roster, it's a roster that you can't count out until it's over, and they're very capable of taking a game away here from off.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I think they're even the underdogs going into this second game. I would hesitate to say that the B-Pan squad, definitely something shown from Panderic nature. They don't tend to flounder at the challenge, okay? And if I know Coach Max, he'll be saying he'll be giving them all a good firm pat on the back. He'll be like, "Good job, boys. Good first round. All right. Now it's time to cook them. Okay, round two. Let's go back, get the claws out. Yeah, sharpen those bamboo sticks and start swinging a bit harder." So I know full well that this next match is going to be potentially even more hotly contested than what we originally saw. I'm very interested to the map, okay, because Skybridge, the range that falls into what favors the likes of Dansker and Rays, okay? I'm curious to see if we go to a Bay 5 or a Fort, if some of those Ash 12s find themselves in the hands of maybe some of the B-Pan members, or the Vectors, or the MP7s, or these new bits and bobs that are coming from different places. And I wonder if the tables turn. Okay, so I mean, I'm not throwing my channel points at it, but I'm just gonna, encourage the chat that I think the B-Pan squad might have a little bit of something extra to give here. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. And honestly, I like the fact that Off was switching weapons based on what side they were on. We saw a little bit more of a traditional stance on that defensive side, but on the offensive side, we saw, even we even saw an MP7 out there at one point as well, which I wouldn't be surprised if we see in the hands of Zaki a little bit later today. But another quick look at those team lineups here, of course, for Baby Panderic. We've got Ignatus, Kazbu, Cryptori, Kenshi, and Nomadic Sassy, who will be looking for their first dub here in the next match.
Very interested to see where this gets taken to for both sides. Personally, I don't think that there is too much separating the two teams other than experience. The only four frag squad has had a fair amount of time playing together and practicing together, which is shown in how well they play off each other's shoulders. But as we crack on into the gameplay, and I see the map on my screen, Mr. Haw, I fought, and yes, I did. We pun dad joke all day because we're about to fight inside of the old castle.
Fort is one of my favorite maps, so sometimes I get a little guff for that, but Kazbu seems to enjoy it here as well. Going to open up with a beautiful snipe on this marksman class. Find that pick on to Wicked here as you can see that body land over there against the corner. Dark maybe paying a little tribute to the teammate here, Dan Skewer, in the background, who's been having some standout games here as well. But Ignatus, there's that MP7 that we were talking about. So BPAN off to a good start here.
Good shots. First of all, Dan's trying to retake this garden position as the pillar player doing a very good job there. We move back across squad. Reinforce. Actually, you see one dissecting long right now all the way back to spawn from B-Pan. Just checking to see if the rotations come in. Doesn't realize that it's a slow push towards the safe site. And actually, OFF playing the timing very well have managed to pull themselves some space. Only until Kazbu, however, is going to play peekaboo with Raze. And instead of Raze, he's going to lower that model to the floor.
Left Raze and a bit of haze after that one, but I love to see Kazbu popping off with the snipes. I tend to flock toward the snipers in any game. There's just something about sniping that I truly enjoy, and for Kazbu, it's certainly working here to open things up on Fort. A little bit of time left in the round, but not a lot to work with. Certainly enough for them to make their way toward the B side, but Cryptori is waiting patiently, and that 7N40 is no ammo to be scoffed at. It'll certainly put you in the dirt here in a hurry. Cryptori in great positioning. Here's the footsteps, the swing, the spray. Has a teammate to play off of here as well. And not even enough time at this point to find the plan.
He's just going to go ahead and get the challenge, also get a bit of confidence under the belt there. Cryptori, captain of the squad, leading the charge at the end of the round. Played their first. 2 for Kazbu there and 2 for the captain. Good kills. Coming in with that instant speed. See that one again. Down he goes.
So a great start here for BPAN, and this is what we needed to see from them here early in game number 2. So on the right foot, just has to keep that momentum rolling, just like with any game, really. Consistency is key, and so we'll see if they're able to execute this game plan here near flawlessly. It was some minor mistakes that haunted them in that first map. Already doing better here in 4th.
first. Early pick, Kenshi responds though. Different member as Darkin goes down. There's Wicked back for the second. He was wondering which one of the two was going to find the trade there to finish off the chaos. Comes through 2-1 for OFF. Colt, good hip fire shots from Mike on the left-hand shoulder thing. 90 goes the other way though. B-Pan's got Nomadic anchoring this A site. Oh man, imagine.
Oh, Nomadic. Mags full of CBJ. Cryptori over here as well, but it's Off who has that player advantage to work with. They could potentially swing together and look to find the trade at a minimum. So we see those smokes. Still pressured here onto the site now. Into good positioning. I think spotted the leg here of Cryptori, and now able to thread the needle. Dan Skewer finding the headshot here. Nomadic Sassy all alone once more here. Rocking that scout class as well. And, you know, honestly, I would like to see maybe that Velociraptor make an appearance here as Mike finds Nomadic to wrap up that round.
Shout's another weapon that holds itself very consistently, doesn't have too much recoil, and you can hit those shots. The one thing that lets it down is that fire rate. So, that being said, the way that the cost of kits goes now, something that's been very popular is an MDR, the yellow MDR, the 995 556 variant, and the 556 by 545 variant that its fire rate is also considered slow, but for whatever reason right now, given the cost of kits, it allows you to have 4 magazines. So, big advantage there, given the way kits are built at the moment.
I know the Raptor isn't as liked, but for whatever reason, I just enjoy that weapon. Maybe because it's newer, but Dan Skewer wasted no time finding that first pick. Kenshi, though, able to get that trade back here at a minimum, and they've got to be careful. Teamfire almost haunting them there as Darkin finds Kenshi. Ignatus onto Mike as well, and now Wicked dancing around, but can't get that gun out in time. Nomadic will find off Wicked, and it's B-Pan this time working with a player advantage.
Yeah, Nomadic actually doing a good job of keeping the gun up there. Catches the OFF member with the gun down as they're running about. A little bit of dancing, a little bit of diving, but not enough ducking and dodging. Well, let's find the way to the member. Bomb planted on site, 40 seconds left as smoke consumes that site as well. A bit of pre-fire out of Nomadic Sassy as teammate steps up from long to support over the headshot box. Checking in kitchen, looking towards Colt for anybody potentially straggling around that side. Darkin has a good position in 90 here, but he is going to be found by Nomadic Sassy. I'll raise.
Not the ideal situation to be in if you're Rays, and we see why. B-Pan once more able to capitalize on that one. So they'll regain the lead here for the time being on this defensive side. But again, everybody but Kazbu finding a pick in that one. So it seems like the team's working very well together. We're seeing seeing them find those trades at a bare minimum if they're not winning the gun battle. So certainly making the proper adjustments from game 1 to game 2 to give them that opportunity to win out here on Fort.
Yeah, we changed perspective to Rays there, and I heard lines of a song of Say Something I'm Giving Up on You came into my mind as I just kind of lost a little bit of favor and felt the confidence drain. Rays doesn't see them, but the silhouettes on our screen told the story that we knew to come true, which was that big bad double swing. And it doesn't matter how good you are on the DMR, unless you line them up with an exceptional set of double kills and the headshot, you're going to struggle to get out that 1v3 in the situation he was left in. So good effort from OFF, but B-Pan do take an advantage 2-1 up in Fort here.
Darkin again off, just slowly and methodically pressuring forward here, trying to give as little audio cues as possible. Nomadic will begin to shift forward. It's Dan Skewer, though, to find Cryptori. Darkin has spotted Nomadic, so the intel will go out. The call out is there, but I'm not sure if Darkin is aware that Ignatus is up top here as well.
Ignatus is actually in a great position here. This is one of the neat little tricks on Fort, is to get yourself up into that middle box so that you can cover better, and Ignatus does find that positional leverage and pick himself one back. Yeah, the MCX rattling out a mini, not finding any bullets to take health off. Raze has lost a little bit, it's going to top that up, but Dansker is waiting. Almost like he's set himself a Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card.
Oh my! Ignatus had the advantage, but it's Wicked with a quick flick of the wrist there to find that pick, and going off things here. They still need to get that device planted, but it's Mike to find Nomadic here, and all of a sudden the site begins to open wide here for them. Kazbu lurking with that snipe. Kenshi beginning to rotate around here as well. Kind of considering the flank, but gonna opt to go through this mid side here as well. And they almost find another team kill as that was Kazbu shooting at Kenshi.
Blade madness there. Whoa, Mike. Get him on the mic. Start recording a platinum album. From the beginning of that round, OFF, they might as well have been disco DJs hot. From the remix that happened with Ignutus having his entirety of his world flipped upside down in front of his eyes to the execution on the end and some great shots. OFF absolutely played an exceptional round to tie that up there. That being said, at 2 apiece, this is going to be a good game. OFF have had to fight really hard for the 2 rounds that they've had so far. Baby Pan looked very confident here.
Man said they're throwing out the remix. Ludicrous. Time to get funky in here, baby. 2-2. Let's see what to do. Both of these teams wanting to take the lead. B-Pan hasn't had the lead on Fort just yet. Or Off, excuse me, hasn't had the lead on Fort just yet. So we'll see if B-Pan can find a way to regain it. Certainly starting off with a nice early pick here onto Darkin.
Waiting for that one to come through because the 2 double swing into Beacon's going to release the bomb from the clutches of the attacking side. 2 members swing strong from Beacon. And one stood next to each other on that site. They don't realise how close they actually are, but Mike and his member next to him gonna have to try and fight over this bomb now as Kazbu's trying to claim positioning. That Beacon close angle here puts him on a left hand. It's not a great way to be fighting. Mike has to get the right from Dark. Raise catches Nomadic Sassy, seemingly lost. Corey responds with 1 though.
Dan Skewer has been putting on a clinic here today. 5-2 after that pick as well. And now in a 1v2 situation, an opportunity for them to find a crazy clutch here for their squad. Unfortunately for Dan Skewer, that device is down in a very awkward position here. And so I believe Kenshi has heard that audio cue, and now they've got a crossfire waiting.
You almost think at this moment in time as the last member alive, you want to just team fight it out. Use the position of where the bomb is to guess where your enemies would be holding it from and just pick them off one by one. Dan doing a good job of isolating each of these ones. Does get information on the first. Now knowing where that is, he's trying to find the other. Recognizes there's no immediate threat for him to challenge that. Swings out and does so, but great positional awareness from B-Pan. Discipline. Neither members try and fight for the challenge, and there is not enough time for Dan to be able to run round the front to get himself to that A point. B-Pan moved to the lead again, 3-2.
Yeah, great situational awareness there from B-Pan, and honestly, it's been great. A lot of back and forth here in this second map. Guys, if you're just joining us in chat and maybe this is something that interests you as well, you have until April 18th, the end of the day, to find your 5 main roster, a sub, and a logo to create a team if you want to get in this ASPL action. So we'd certainly love to showcase some of your talent and skills out here on the day. Don't hesitate to join the Discord and get involved.
Absolutely. A big shout out and thank you to Battle State Games for the work on the Battle Pass and the Epic Games Showcase. Shout out to Epic Games. Shout out to Panderic for putting on this amazing event today with 3 showcase matches, all best of 2s. The first one evolving in front of your eyes right now. Dave Panderic in their second map against OFF, where OFF found themselves a map up from Skybridge but are under pressure here in map 2-on-4. Even more so now, they are 2 members down in round number 6.
Early picks again from B-Pan. Cryptori lingering on the other side here. That smoke play at the moment. Darkin again just beating around, trying to find a little intel and early pick here to bring things back in their favor. But Cryptori catches Dan Skewer off guard, and with that, it's now a 5v2. Woo!
I'm going to say,
nice shot. Unfortunately, it was your teammate.
That's one of the ones where you feel a little bit bad about it. After all, well, Nomadic Sassy has put him down for his crimes. Says, nope, down you go, sir. No team kills allowed. Friendly on friendly violence is not what's going on here. That being said, bruh, Darkins pulled a quick one.
Yeah, you know, in the mass confusion there of the team slaughtery. It happens, honestly, you just have to laugh it off. You can't let it affect your mental. You still have a full game to play in front of you, so you have to GG's go next. But right now, they have bigger fish to fry as they've got a 3v1 to deal with. Darkin in great positioning, spots one on the jump over. Now the buddy system, and with that, Nomadic finds the pick. They'll get the defusal and double the lead.
That's it. And whilst the baby pandas are going to celebrate on the site whilst diffusing, we'll talk a little bit about a reason why you guys should get involved in the ASPL. Don't forget, not only is it a chance for you to prove yourselves against the most offensive players in the game that are considered some of the greats, it's also a chance to line your pockets with a bit of padding. That's right, £800 prize pool put on by the Panderic organisation. Thanks to the great work of Ski Mask Timmy and all the other pandas involved. All right, just so that you guys can get a little extra something, as well as a competitive environment to play in and develop in and test your skills. Doubling down on that shout out to the Panderic squad and the hard work that goes into the background from Timmy. Without this happening, folks, the scene would not be able to expand as it does. And then, of course, we've got a triple down on the Battle State Games one. For the cook recently from the VSG lab has been top notch.
BSG continues to cook up the great stuff here for this Epic Games Showcase. Reminder that it is now out on Epic Games Launcher as well as of earlier today. So love to see you out there on the battlefield. Love to see you out here in the ASPL as well. Wicket finding that first one, and Casbo with a dirty snipe on to Darkin will drop the device, and we'll spot the barrel there, inching forward, trying to pick up the device, but that's a dangerous spot to maybe not scope out first. So we'll be able to put another one into the dirt. V-Pan certainly performing much better here on forward as Rays will find a nasty kill of their own.
Mike, please don't do what both your teammates have just done in front of you and try and pick up that bomb. Anything else, and I'm happy. Just please don't die to the Balti. I like the bait. He did tank a headshot for it. You see the head is extremely low health right now. Probably 3 health left on that model. Why did they do it? These guys like Nightmare Fuel, I swear. The darkness is all around him. Speaking of darkness, Cryptori is going to finally find that flanking member in Rays.
Yeah, it's like a battle of those famous quotes. If, first you don't succeed, try again. But what's the definition of insanity? Because you don't want to keep single peeking, picking up that device there, and already teetering on the idea. The shot looks good, but unfortunately it doesn't connect. So he's going to be able to pick up that device and opt to leg it the other direction. Unfortunately, with only 14 seconds left on the clock, he's really forced to stay toward this A site.
If anybody's going to roll dice to death, it's Mike. He's got 3 members to kill, and he's got 6 seconds left on the clock. The first goes down, and he's got 2 members left to pick, and with 3 left on it, I don't think he's going to give him the challenge. They're not. A smart reach out from the last member, deep in short from Casbu. Denies him just in case he's gone for a quick tempo plan, but that's a great effort from Mike nonetheless. But we're going to get to drop back into the replay, and look at this.
They're just lemmings at this point. Boop. Just bopping them on the head here. I mean, forget the pandas. My man was like little bunny foo-foo out there.
Boom, mouse button 1 warrior there, able to just point and click. You've got too many members that say it's a killer crutch. Well, no, he's now a killer queen. Claims himself 3 heads in front of the court, no longer looking like members of the jury, but just court jesters. That's what happens when you all walk into the same angle, into a Balti. That being said, Panderic currently find themselves, the baby squad, with a very, very large total, shall we say, a non-baby-esque scoreline. 5-2, ahead by 3.
As we said, I'm going to have my cake and eat it too. And Mike, though, trying to find a pick. It's Casbu again on this sniper. And showcasing the talent here, continues play around this same spot, and now Wicked finds a pick onto his teammate, but Cryptori says, anything you can do, I can do better. Takes out his teammate as well. Wicked finding Kenshi, and we're right back into a 3v2.
Yeah, looks at him, casts the main magic spell, says, hey, Uno Reverso, and then hits him with a dose of his own medicine.
Oh.
He's playing with death here. This is literally rolling the dice of your life trying to pixel peek in and out of this. Okay.
Oh. Tough spot to be in. Dan Skewer will eventually eliminate Casbu and snuff out that flame that's been very hot in these last few rounds with Cryptori. And then just a tough position to be in. So Wicked will find that pick. They'll look to close that gap just a little bit here. But honestly, a solid start here for the baby pandas. But now that we swap sides, things could get a little bit tougher on that attacking side.
Yeah, Yeah, seeming wicked, favoring this X17 on the scout there with the M80. Interesting choice. There's a lot of players talking very favorably about the X17. It feels like a very clunky weapon, pretty heavy, slower fire rate than the majority of the base meta at the moment. But maybe that's part of the shift. Maybe that's the way the game is going. And I am surprised to see as little Ash 12s as we have in this one, honestly. We've only got the one. That's okay. Now, this is what I expected to see. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the section of the day where you're going to need some earplugs. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kazboo, and otherwise now going to be known as Kazdratatata. He is going to walk onto this site with all 41 bullets of LPS. GCH, by the way, tanked up on an enforcer with a PKM and just caused absolute devastation.
That's why he's got no headphones on. He doesn't want to hear it, even though everybody's going to hear it here as well, waiting patiently and stepping out. We will see a couple shots ring out, but unfortunately not able to land the mark just yet. Kazboo looking to be a juggernaut out here on the battlefield. We've got some of those Ash 12s as well that you were asking for, more specifically on board here with Wicked, who's looking to showcase exactly what the Ash 12 can do. It's Kazboo to find the first one, but Mike with a trade back. Nomadic finding Wicked here as well, and there's Plat Stripes all up in the kill feed.
Absolutely, and the tankier members, the ones still holding their lives for the time being, except from that beefcake. The first burger being delivered out to the audience in fast food style. Those LPS bullets are not going to be hurting anyone anymore. Cryptori, however, is doing the dance of death on the doorframe out of court and claims his life and Mike. Dan finds the response with that skewer on Grignusis out in the 90.
Speaking of burgers, Dan found one. He's looking for the McDouble or maybe the McTriple. He's going to need a Quadra, though, if he wants to close out the round here. And now flirting with disaster. We can see that device, though, going down very far away. So a long rotation in store here for Dan, which will allow B-Pan to get set up. It's going to make things a little bit more difficult here for Dan, but if there's one player on this team that's been popping off and is capable of that clutch, certainly it would be in Dan we trust. Time ticking away. There's the step up. Dan able to find Cryptori here as well. A little bit of back and forth. Looking to bait out that defusal here. Now dances around. Spots one more, but it's Nomadic to find the pick here onto Dan with that CBJ. Putting the bullets downfield in a hurry. A hailstorm of bullets, if you will, there for B-Pan, as they will once more double that lead. Up now 6-3, and looking to fight back here. What a great start here to the day if we could see both of these teams end up and off with a win here. Not out of the deep water just yet is B-Pan, though. They still got a few rounds to win here in a row if they want to close it out. Can't count only 4 frags. Plethora of talent littered across that team here as well. Dan getting very close to double digits already. Story equally as close here as well. We can hear that utility begin to rain down. The shots as well. Kazboo on this big gun, but Nomadic finding that pick on to Wicked, so we'll be safe from Kazboo for the time being. Raze now prone as Darkin finds Kinchi. They're looking to pressure out onto the point here. Shots ring out, and the device lingers forward, but it's Ignatus finding the headshot here onto Raze, and with that, they'll be able to pressure on toward the site, find that plant as well. Nomadic goes down to Mike, though. With that, we're back to a 3v3. Cryptori in a cheeky little spot here as well. Kazboo beginning to rotate around. Just 32 rounds left here in the mag. Cryptori does find a way to get Mike. Does he know this one lingering to the right? He does, and the shots ring out. Dan found one on the other side of things, but it's Cryptori to find the pick, and now on a 2v1, Dan, not a ton of health to work with here.
Also, look at how much ammo Kazboo's still got left. He came in with 41 bullets on this enforcer. He's now currently on 31, so still the majority of what he's got left in his arsenal. And Dan's got 2 problems and not enough time to have to deal with it, really. 2 teammates looking at each other at the same time there. Flicking the back, Dan does get one, but it's not enough as Kazboo closes it out.
Kazboo looking to be that annoying menace here with the big guns. We said he was the juggernaut. He's putting in work here in this one as we take a quick look at that replay here. That was Cryptori and Kazboo working together. Cryptori finds his first one and peeking in here to get that second one as well. We saw him eventually going down, but Kazbu able to solidify that round win. Now just one away from getting to match point.
Out of the spawn we go. Smoke grenade in mid here to try and claim some control. OFF actually not stacking too heavily towards that B site for the time being. So interesting to see if Pan tried to work a rotation out. Bomb shows itself out in jungle. Ooh, Kenshi's going to have the head of Mike as well. That was a grenade flashed down.
Stark finding Cryptori. Dan Skewer gets Kenshi as well, and so things were looking a bit dangerous for off, but they find a way to reel this round back here and give themselves the player advantage. Darkin on the jiggle, looking for a bit of intel. We can see the device on the other side as Dan Skewer finds the Matic. Darkin going prone here as well, and Ignitus not spotting him on that crossover. Dark and Dan combined for 2 and off right back in it.
Strong plays out of the OFF squad in this one, and it's not going to be too late, I don't think. Does feel like they could have potentially tried to get the engine going a couple of rounds earlier. They'd found themselves in a much better place, but Panderic have set themselves up very well to close this out, even with the good response from OFF at this point. I mean, great scores coming out of Cryptori and of Nomadic Sassy in the fort map here, as well as support from all 3 other members. A very even scoreline across all of the Pandas. Danska currently popping off for OFF, but taken off, as is his friend Mike, by the Beefcake. My word, I'm going to hear those bullets in Mike's nightmares for the rest of this season, aren't I? Yup.
It's just sweet chin music for me, baby. I could find myself being one of those annoying presences out there. If it's something that frustrates people, it's probably something that I would enjoy using, so... Sweet chin music for me. Speaking of sweet chin music, Wicked taking the head clean off Ignitus. The head leaves the shoulder, is rolling across the board like a boulder as Wicked isn't done just yet, and he finds another. What is going on? Wicked is absolutely on fire.
That first was delicious, but the transfer to the crosshair placement on the second was I thought actual perfection on the fluctuation. And the third from the Ash 12. Look at the wrist. Flick heavy, flick short, doesn't matter. The results from his enemy is going to be naught. Wicked waiting to wipe the last woe from the face of the Pandas. He's going to have to pressure defusers. No way. Free swing. Good timing. Tempo doesn't claim either. Running with the gun down. Gun up. Tori goes down. Wicked. Oh, my word.
Just a great job here by Kazbu. I mean, Wicked had a hell of a round, and we get to take another look at it. But playing time, playing smartly allows them to win that round and go up to match point. As this next shot coming up here from Wicked is just dirty. He finds this first one, the quick flick and the transfer on toward that second one through the ADS, and then ended up picking up another kill shortly after that as well. Wicked on an absolute wicked tear, but it's Dan Skewer that's already got 13 on the board.
I mean, he went down very quickly in that last one, but that's what you have to see is one of your team members step up when you're not the one that's killing it inside of the arena. Every one of your 5 members has a job to play, and enemy team is only as strong as you think now as one steps from right to left across the screen of Cryptori. You can't give this man that kind of a window because he will claim your life. One back from Raze. DMR actually does a great job to tuck away from headshots, completely thrown Cryptori off positioning. He's going to check it, and he's going to catch him with his hands in his pocket.
Beautiful pre-fire from Cryptori. Unfortunately, he's going to walk right back into the firing squad of Dan Skewer, who does find that trade. Mike on the other side of things was able to find a pick of their own as well. And so that player advantage taken away now from B-Pan, as it's up to them to look to find this device plant. But honestly, they need to realistically find maybe at least one more additional pick before they look to get that plant down. But Darkin waiting patiently allows Kenshi to walk into the crosshair. We'll find that pick with ease, and now off, looking to work their way back in this one.
Justin Kitchen don't find a home from either as Mike actually comes out on top of that battle. Ignitus looked like he probably could have killed him. Honestly, I think Ignitus thought he had. Took the mouse button one off for just a second and it ends up losing him his life there. Very unfortunate from the side of Ignitus. Nothing to worry about too much from the Baby Pandas though. They do find themselves with 4 more match points in their hands.
Definitely got some time to close this one out, but they don't want to allow off to get too close, too back in it. and allow that momentum to shift in their favor here. Wicked certainly maybe being that spark to ignite that spectral fire in the previous round, as off seems to be popping off here at the moment. But things have slowed down just a little bit. We can see that utility being thrown around here on the map here to maybe slow down a little bit of these pushes, close off some of the sight lines here as well, as BPAN looks to decide what they want to do.
It's a really interesting split as both sides are spread across the map. The one downside of this play is what happens here, which is an aggressive push from the offensive dark side. That being Dark in an OFF pushing off the A site, and they take out 2 of the 3 players that are with the bomb. Now, as the other 2 members have been searching towards that B site, the bomb is working its way as best it can safely to match the rotation. There's the big booming bullets out of that LPS Enforcer. Second is chasing quickly, going to drop dive, dodge. The first from mid does get the kill, but gets picked off from that rotation out of A.
Uh-oh. Off. Beginning to work their way back in. It's some really nice kills from Kazbu there as well, but as you mentioned, that final flank coming in from that bathroom side there, and, all of a sudden we see off within 2 rounds now of tying it up, so Baby Pandas have a little time to close it out, a little bit of room to work with, but again, they don't want to give up too much of that space here, because off looking to take that inch and run a mile with it now, as they are just a couple away from tying it up and potentially sending us into overtime.
Yeah, we see the support coming in chat. I'm hoping that's Pandaric Esports, not Panda Rice Sports, as we're currently seeing right now, as they are currently going through a little bit of a sticky patch. Sticky Rice, great Chinese food, not necessarily the rest inside of the arena. One apiece though, starting off finds Kenshi and Casby trading their life for a kill. Mike, 1 onto Nomadic Sassy, closes out the initial chaos. Smokes over the site and the bomb is down. Can BPAN find a way to get this bomb onto site? Oh, great. Casby reads it well though, shoots the dead body in the smoke, double tap just to make sure he's down.
Always got to double tap just in case, even though it's probably safe with that giant weapon that man's lugging around there. But Ray's now on this quick pick, the hip fire as well. It doesn't quite connect. He's got the moves like Jagger. He eventually goes down, but Cryptori will wrap it up, and the Baby Pandas will be able to solidify the dub here on to 4.
That's what they were looking for. That's what you like to see, and I think the BPAN squad is going to be exceptionally pleased with that second map success. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, that makes it a 1-apiece tie, and although we are only seeing best of 2s today because we're not necessarily fighting for prizes, this is a showcase so you guys can see all of the amazing competitors and the cool stuff that's come with the new content update. It's going to be, I think both teams are happy to walk away with that one proud 1-apiece haul. I think they'll be, happy to take their respectful maps, and both will have some ways to work on for when we get to the ASPL itself.
Yeah, I mean, you can't think of a better start to the Epic Showcase here. Both teams are able to grab a dub, and so you certainly have to be happy with that, right? Because it could be worse. You could be 0-2 on the day. So you're feeling good, and but that makes it me, a little bit more amped up, because now we're gonna start bringing the pros on board. We've got some former champions, some former runner-ups, and top threes about to go head to head here in a few moments. Crack, do you have any thoughts on this upcoming match?
No. Nope,
None.
0 thoughts,
Forget it.
0 suspicions, none, nope. My brain cells this morning were all 3 of them fighting over space for oxygen just to be able to breathe for the day. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a tough one getting out of bed this morning. I sat out in the sun and I went, "Ah." As you do, you just sigh at the day and like, "Okay, list of things to do, list of time to do it in, roger. Understood, boss man," and nose to the grindstone. Stop thinking about it from here on forwards. No, this has been a highlight for me. I love the NA teams. I've absolutely been enthralled working, coaching alongside Epic Fails Esports, and then working with the teams they've scrimmed. UN, uh, New Dawn, Aquila, Vibe Check, all the great teams out in that NA scene. But for me, EU is home. It is what it is. I was born here. It's on my flag, and I'm gonna be true, tried and tested. Okay, Sicario, a team that I will never be disappointed to see on screen, regardless of the result. And same can be said for the previously known Oil Rig squad, now Panderic Apex. Okay, the Bears have even got to show that furious strength in this squad. The 3 graze marks over the panda's head now, where it has been battle tested, toughened, and hardened. And we've invited in the five titans to come and show us what they've got to give. So, if we're gonna see one, okay, what better time than the Epic Games Showcase for the new Pandemic Apex squad to upset Sicario?
I mean, maybe you might be living in my head over here because that's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, it could the panda just be all that oil rig needed, just to toss in the panda in the mix to give him that extra oomph to topple these giants of Sicario, who's been back to back champions here. And so, it could be. Obviously, we're all, at a bare minimum, we're just here to have fun. It is the Tarkov Arena Epic Game Showcase, brought to you by ASPL, of course, in collaboration with Pandaric. But again, if you guys haven't checked out the Epic Game Store, get over there. Tarkov Arena now available there as well. But a lot of familiar names that we're going to see here in this next matchup. Sicario, a team that really hasn't dropped many games throughout the HPL. So, as much as I love seeing them dominate time and time again, I'm a big fan of the underdogs. I'm in the NA. That's my hometown. And my hometown state football team sucks. We're always losing. So I'm so used to being the underdog that I'm just naturally rooting for the underdog over here. So we'll see if Pandaric can maybe upset these juggernauts here today. But it's going to be a tough battle.
I'm really curious to see what the one I'm really looking forward to today, separate from the teams, okay, including of the teams. Weapons again. We've seen the
Mhm.
semi-pro perspective, okay? We've seen that ASPL levels worth of what they brought to the table. We saw a couple of bits. We've seen a couple of people that have not necessarily adjusted yet, maybe not had a chance to get on the game yet. This is the first time they've been on since the update, whatever the case may be, and have stepped with the spear, for example, kept to the AK-12, which, by the way, is the one kit that hasn't changed again. The AK-12 is still in a very good place. Uh, I think the HPL EU pros might have a little bit more of a hot take on some of these weapon choices, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think we might see a couple more of those beefcakes in different forms, maybe even two of them per team on attacking side. I think we might even go as far as to say maybe two enforcers, two marksmen, and then a scout or an assault right now. I think is a very solid combo. But we're going to get what is maybe somebody else's perspective on these two now from arguably two of the best minds in the scene collectively, right, Hawk? Sicario squad and the
Yeah.
Pandemic Apex squad, the best 10 players to ask, I guess.
Yeah, and again, we saw Rapid on Twitter earlier. I think just yesterday. Arena is back, baby. He's equally as excited, but he was talking about, as far as assault goes, AK-12 still the best by far. Enforcer, shotgun. He said this dog is coming back. And so he's not happy about it, but he was well aware that it's coming. So the dog poo meta is coming back on that enforcer class. For the scouts, he was talking about the 5.56 SCAR being incredibly strong because you can put that 9.95, full in the mag. And then, of course, on that marksman, your TRG that you love. We saw Casboo with the Uzi, but he said Rapid was talking about how the MP5 also equally is viable. The PvP, even though it's a smaller caliber, it shreds. And it just shreds.
We talked about this, myself and Mr. Decoy and a couple of the other, guys that work around the coaching scene about the context of what would be the most prevalent deciding factor. Was it going to be fire rate? Was it going to be magazine size? Was it going to be capability slash capacity, what you could hold for that weapon as a whole? Or was it going to be how much you could kit the weapon versus how much it cost you to do so? The common concept right now, as I've run the Kedda alongside the TRG, and I've had an absolute whale of a time, by the way. If you don't care about being too serious about it, and you don't mind having somebody tank a headshot now and again, that Kedda alongside a TRG makes for a wonderful backup. You can have 90 rounds of fun to just round on people when you just don't fancy taking shots anymore. All right, when you're just getting really sick and bored of the slow pace, you can take out good old reliable and go for a run around as if you were back on factory. So, big fan. Definitely not optimal. MP5, lots of points, lots of spend, not so great. MP5K, the small little battle buddy version that again is a little pocket rapid rocket, I'm not gonna lie, is definitely up there. I'm not an Uzi fan, personally, so I actually prefer the MP5K, but I do think the Uzi is viable. My problem is I would like the Uzi stats on everything in the MP5K build except from 9x19. Give me the Uzi bullet in the MP5K and I'm gold, I'm happy.
Yeah, honestly, I love the Uzi. I even like the little shrimp, but as Stankrat's uncle, I'm a huge fan of the Keter as well, and so we love the Keter to the leg action. But yeah, honestly, they're all very very viable, and so yes, that's right.
I just saw. I'm sorry, Hart. I'm gonna look to the chat for a second. If we just take a look down at Exhibit A, Alez underscore DE coming in there with. That's what I tell my girlfriend all the time. It's a small caliber, but it shreds. We're just gonna let that one settle for a second.
Uh,
Yeah, allow that one to bask in the glory. Crazy. Alez telling us all the real hard truths of the world right now. It's not the size of your tool, folks. It's how you use it. Okay, and that is going to come down to being a very, very important motto to go by in the gameplay. Right? I think with the way that guns have changed, Hawk, there's a lot of flexibility and variety out there now. It doesn't really matter too much what you like. It is down to how well you play with the weapon you play with. Point in case, the TRG more consistently kills people with one taps. However, with the SV98, the M700, the DVL, and these two new bullets they've brought in, they have better ergo stats. They have better control of the scope itself overall, less sway, less dip, but you don't quite as consistently one tap people. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
yeah.
I like the feel right now. You can be creative.
I mean, I guess Alice, whatever makes you sleep better at night. We prefer the M60 over here, but that's fine. We're not here to point fingers or point blame or shame anybody. But yeah, there's a reason he's on the baby panda team. Oh, we love Alice.
Oh,
All
brother.
jokes aside, Alice is always on my side supporting as well. So you'd love to see people who can give it and take it out in chat and have a good time with us. But I mean, that's what it's all for here, right? That's what this showcase is for. We're here to showcase a lot of talent, but the core requirement is to have fun. If you're not having fun, you got to get out. You got to go. See ya. So we're having a good time. Hopefully you guys are having as much fun as I'm having because it's going to be hard to top. But we're getting ready and set here for Pandaric Apex versus Sicario. And again, Sicario, we've seen execute almost flawlessly time and time again. They have really great strategies. They come in with a game plan. And who's the IGL over there? Do you happen to know, Cracked? Is it Kiyoshima or?
For Sicario? Well, at
Yeah.
this moment in time, I would think it probably has fallen on the hands of Sicario's Kiyoshima, maybe alongside some help from Lucky. I know that Nemenas, that moved away from Sicario to go and play alongside Eight Sins now, is the one that essentially was IGLing before he stepped away. So it would be interesting to confirm who it is that has taken up that IGL spot. But given the experience in Counter Strike and their level of play throughout with Sicario as well, I think it might fall into the hands of Kiyoshima. So interesting concept there. Definitely another mega mind. I mean, we saw Kiyoshima at the back end of season two's HPL really taking off, right, Hawk? We saw him really showing out with some exceptional performances and going through an evolution curve as an individual player. Now the Sicario team just seems to be unstoppable. It's gotten to the point where, I mean, Furlex is in his own home territory. The TRG has just made it officially a Furlex playground. The battle buddy system is set so well with how Sicario works because all five players have synergy. And then you've got Zaki and Luki, who I think have always been considered two kooky cookies when it comes to weapon creativity in the meta. Okay, Zaki, you remember, an MP7 fanatic, and how good the MP7 feels right now, Hawk. Oh boy, it's back, baby.
Yeah, I mean, and when Zaki's not on the MP7, he's on the Ash 12, especially on Fort. So something we could see again. But we'll take a quick look at the rosters here for Pandaric Apex. Names we're all familiar with. The man himself, Bakizi, Cacao, Codex, Rapid, who we were just talking about, and that Ace as well. Looking to get things done here against Sicario.
Yeah, absolutely. So Both squads worth of teams here to fight for the pride and the prize, ladies and gentlemen. No paper on the table today for prize pools because this is a showcase. This is just pure passion, all right? And this is something that I'm not surprised to see at all. That is an RPK with the Olive Masker. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's letterbox luxury as we rock on into court again. Now you hear the sound of the guns going off in the background. Ring Crush is going to put into the Ash-12. Taki with one of those big boom cannons. He's going to have 20 rounds left of LPS, but he's going to claim one and take a headshot for it. The good response out of that ace is going to find him with the Bolty, though.
There's Furlex on that snipe, and he finds the two-piece as well. Furlex is so dangerous on this marksman class. We've seen it time and time again, and already starting off here with a devastating two-piece chicken dinner.
I mean, if you count that, I mean, it's almost like the members had decided to fall into his bolt reload as perfectly as they could. Azabazalio making an absolutely crazy play there, picking one up themselves from the scout. And Ash-12, also very common. This is what I expected to see. We've got Enforcer, Scout, Ash-12, Ash-12, and then a Marksman in here. So not double Marksman on defending side, no surprise, but lots of big bully bullets. Oh, Furlex!
I'm still trying to figure out some of these names over here. What do we got? We got Asbazella Zella or something. We got SDFGF, My Agidu.
Azabazli Zaya. Wow. No, Azabazli Zella. You're right, yeah. Azabazli Zella. What a crazy name. These guys really, really cooking. And then Mayagadu. What? Guys, SDFGF. Did people just miss the keyboard whilst we were typing in names for this one? I don't know. Sicario clearly having the time of their life on this. SDFGF is going to claim himself a kill with a grenade and the Ash-12. Rapid one back onto in Crutch. Oh,
He's going back and forth. Furlex has both finding one before Cacao trading one out. Cacao on this Ash-12 as well, which is a weapon that we, at least in the past, haven't seen Cacao really run here. So it's interesting to see with these new kind of meta changes coming in exactly what all these players are going to be running. And obviously some of them might just be running weapons for fun here because it is the showcase.
You see Furlex there taking out the melee and showing that the Masker is a lot easier beaten with a swinging weapon from the melee. Funny fact, helmets don't have a particularly good armor rating versus melees, folks. It doesn't work in the same way as bullets do, so you can actually just smack someone in the head, and so long as it's a weapon that would one-tap to a naked head, it'll do the same thing to the helmet.
I think we're getting word that Siduvgv is goes.
Oh, okay.
We're slowly deciphering them here, thanks to
Roger.
the wonderful production and the rest of the crew working diligently behind the scenes.
What is this attacking lineup running then? So AK-12, AK-12, Ash-12 marks.
Cal Codex all finding early picks here as Pan Apex looks to swing things back in their favor. Furlex on this snipe goes waiting patiently here as well as Pan tries to bait out a little bit of that free fire, and they do just that. We'll find Furlex's shot here as well. We'll be able to get this plant going down. They've got the player advantage to work with, and this is Pan's round to take.
Codex ate that hip fire off the top of the somehow. Shots coming across the two-man swing comes through, and that's how you take out a Baltic. Cacao brings his foul buddy to the table, and then two go down. The Panderic Apex squad are going to slam Sicario out around 3 and start putting a point on the board for themselves. This is what you wanted to see out of a team with a battle buddy system, and this is why those assault enforcer or scout enforcer combos are going to be so crucial if you can battle buddy up against them or with them. It is massively decisive. You put so much into that enforcer to have the letterbox, the tankiness, the ammo continually firing without having to reload, that you need somebody there with you for audio and to back you up, because if you get swung with 2 people, those enforcer kits do not put 2 people down easily when you're going up against something like an Ash-12 and an AK with 77 and 40 in it that melts very quickly. First shot there from the RPK, though, is going to take the head of Big Bush off.
Miyagi do finding 2, making a 3rd, can't quite get the 4th, who We did get word that Miyagi is Luki. Asbaz is Keo. Furlex finding that snipe on to Rapid, and now it's all down to Codex here in a 3v1 situation.
Kodak's going to have to try and find himself a way to isolate one of the ones. He's got the bomb, he's going to be able to get it planted, but first challenge is going to come up from ramp just after that goes down. He'll dip out to Beacon's, going to give him some space to be able to try and rotate. A good challenge on short. He needs to, if he gets both of these here, he has to put himself ready for one. Secondary swings him. Zaki, great shots onto Codex, shuts that thought down. Codex gave himself every opportunity there, Hort, but good battle buddy system again. And look, Zaki's tanked a headshot as well, Hort. Big red head.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to deal with this Enforcer class. I mean, that's kind of been a consistent thing before the Vulcan with the shotties, and I mean, now we're just seeing him kind of step it up to that next notch here as well. And you're right, we see 2 Enforcers coming out of the side here of Sicario, and so not the most ideal thing to have to deal with here. Zaki always running those the crazy weapons, so I'd like to see him putting in work. And honestly, again, I'm a fan of the big guns, so I like hearing the shots ring out. Kills coming here early as 1080 finds an nade one. Cacao unfortunately taking out Ping Crutch. Who I wonder if maybe Ping Crutch is Bakizi. I know they've had some connectivity issues in the past, which would leave that ace to be 1080 Diff, who finds that pick onto Kiyoshima. Zach all alone here.
Oh, Ping Crutch Hort is Crank alert, so Crank stepping in for the keys today, doing play until further notice for the keys there.
Gotcha.
Ping Crutch is Crank lurk that one there. Thank you again to production for filling us in the background. Cacao is going to claim another point for the Baby Panderic squad in the depth again, Hort. And I'm starting to see a trend that was a little bit forgotten from the Oil Rig squad when they were playing in Season 3. And that was the Codex Cacao strength towards the back end of the round, right? That consistent ability for the 2Cs to be kings of the clutch. Well, it's back, it seems like. Codex left at the end, finds himself in a good spot, doesn't convert. Cacao this time does. And the Panderic Apex squad are starting to look a little like we remember.
Absolutely. Just one away from tying it up here. So certainly stringing together some nice rounds. We just have to continue to do so. We hear some of that free fire coming out. Now the drop the shot as well. Ping Crutch able to find the first one, but it's Kiyoshima to answer back. Rapid finds Furlex, so the snipe goes down, and Pan Apex will retain that one-player advantage.
This is it now. The meta heavily tier 4 armor, except from Enforcer, is the best you can get all round now. So any bullets that are consistent through tier 4 are classed as being exceptionally strong and definitely meta relevant right now. 3v2, Zaki and Goes. The last 2 left alive for Sicario as the bomb is being planted. 45 left on the clock.
See Goes just looking to remain patient. We'll begin to pressure forward here. Now that we have Zaki as well, looking to play off the buddy system. I don't know if they're aware that 1080's lurking back there. First snipe comes in. Now the help from the side here as well. It's Rapid, but it's 1080 on the snipe. Goes down, and Pan Apex ties it up.
So for those of you at home wondering where the meta's going to go, this is a good one to pay attention to right now, because I feel like we are being taught a very important lesson by both sides of the table here. It almost feels like you can build your composition in 3 different ways. You can go very mobile and agile as a whole. A couple of scouts on Ash 12, a couple of marksmans on different versions of DMRs, and an Enforcer or an Assault to back it up, and a very mobile squad that plays everywhere. You've got this form of it here from Panderic Apex, where they're playing an Ash 12 and an AK, so power and consistency in battle buddies alongside a lurker on the Balti. And well, the Balti's role on each team right now is to be able to pick off these damaging duos with the very thick kits. Balti wins in the favour of Pan Apex. The tanks win. Cario finds himself walking on the side. It's being a similar thing right now, which is just can't remove this Enforcer out of all. They might have the numbers advantage, but Zaki can stand here all day long and keep people down. Finally, the Balti does find Zaki, and he gets shut down.
Rapid will pick up that final kill on to Goes, and Panderic, I mean, after being down by quite a few rounds to start things off, have found their way here. And so Not only have they worked their way back into it, but they'll take the lead for the first time here today on Ford. And Derek looking very good, putting in that work in the offseason here. It just goes to show that you can always continuously get better, always room for improvement, even for those pros as well.
What a great match. And a real insight into what people can expect if you've not touched this game before and you're looking forward to watching some competitive play in the future alongside picking up a copy of the game yourself from the Epic Games Store and having a go in your spare time. Zaki finds himself the return trade, one apiece into Kiyoshima. Rapid, finding one goes. Great shots from Zaki as he is traded out though. Crank on Pink Crutch, the name there on screen for you guys. Managing to find that. Bomb jumps onto site safely.
Furlex trying to find one with the snipe. Unfortunately, he finds his teammate. Lukey going down here. Furlex will find another, though. Panderic doesn't have to peek here. They have the plan. It's up to Furlex to pressure in toward them and maybe looking to swap out this weapon here as well. We'll upgrade just a bit, giving themselves hopefully a little bit of an easier chance to work with. And with that, still 25 seconds. Plenty of time to work with. Maybe going to opt to fake this defusal here as well and see if they can push him forward. But Panderic's not going to buy it. It's Pink Crutch to find Furlex. And Panderic Apex. A little bit of a cushion to work with here.
Yeah, 5-3 as they go into the half. We're going to swap sides now with 8 rounds down. They're going to find themselves on the defending side. Sicario going to have their chance at attacking, and the one thing we have always said about this Sicario squad is the strength comes with the sword. And they're on the offense hot. They seem to go through teams like a knife, steaming hot through butter.
Well, they're going to get an opportunity to do that here in just a few moments, but Sicario, I mean, again, you know, it doesn't matter if they're down by a couple rounds or not. This is a team that's been a champion, at least in the last 2 HPLs that I've casted, you know, and they're champions for a reason. So even in times where things look a bit grim, they've always found a way to overcome these obstacles and come out on top. So looking to do that here as we swap sides, but Pan is one of these teams that, you know, is equally as aggressive, even on the defensive side. So at times that aggression can be hard to deal with.
Interesting that Panderic Apex decided not to go in any of the 2 scouts, 2 assaults, Top Kiyoshima's going to put work in with that Ash 12. On the spot now, actually by Nicole, the Vector Rapid with the 1, nearly 2 beats. Somehow the last set of bullets defy him and deny him the success there.
Man, Panderic Apex is looking good, and that ace on this snipe even better. Cacao will wrap up the final one on to Kiyoshima. But Panderic Apex looking good under the new name, formerly Oil Rigs, and doing it without Pakizi here today at the moment as well.
A little comment from the cool cats in chat. Remember when you had to aim at the head? A little bit of a nod to the effect of the Ash 12 and the AP Lapua shots that don't necessarily require you to be as accurate with your bullets, but you're going to get to see very soon, Mr. Dover. Things like the Vector and the MP7, when picked up in certain places, they're going to be a very good challenge to that mentality. I'm telling you now, that Vector, that 45 Vector, very good at putting people down very quickly, regardless of what kit you're wearing, unless it is that level 6 masker.
Early picks here from both squads. We see Rapid on that Vector here as well. Zaki back on that Ash 12. That's where we're used to seeing Zaki rock on Fort, finding that pick there as well. And that'll allow Sicario to get that player advantage and find this plant here with a bit of ease and good positioning, but not able to find the pick. And Rapid has this weapon here at a distance, not always as viable as we see Lukey again finding a pick. Zaki with an 8 as well. And now it comes down to Rapid in a 1v4.
Doable. Not quite if the first person through the hole, though, is the Enforcer. That is the one thing that Vector does not go through like butter, is that tanky level 6 mask. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was officially a great effort from Rapid, but I think I'm struggling to find him coming out of that 1v5 there, Hort. The Vector has the potential to 1v2 quite comfortably. You can get a fast reload off and take the second 2, but regardless of when that Enforcer turns up, it's going to be a tough task either way, and I don't see any player pulling that off, regardless of how talented they are.
Yeah, I mean, you need nothing pretty much short of a miracle at that point. Again, just not enough rounds in the mag really to comfortably take out everybody. And now that Enforcer class in the face as well. Rapid tries to get out, but can. And Luki will continue to press in towards spawn. Cacao finds Furlex in the mix. And with that, the pre-fire comes out. Codex taking out his teammate here as well. 1080. Diff finding the diff onto my Agidu.
Wow. Nice, plays his corner, cool, calm, and collected. Pops out, says meow, and then domes the guy, waiting, trying to pre-fire him with the RPG. Exactly the kind of patience we'd expect to see from that ace. Crank on Pink Crutch from the Zaki. This re-swing out of Keo is good, but Crutch has the response. And Eric Apex Hawk, they're not just looking good, they're looking confident here.
Some would say they're looking epic.
I see what
Nudge,
you did
nudge,
there.
wink, wink.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Plus 10 points for dad jokes.
No, you can get 25 for that. That's a silver tier. That's a W. That was a good one. Here's an instant replay.
Guys, if you're just joining us and you want to get involved in the action, you've got until April 18th at the end of the day and come up with a 5-main roster, a sub, and a logo to get up in this ASPL action. We'd love to see you showcasing the talent out here. I'd love an opportunity to cast some of your skills as well. So find a roster, get a team, get out here, have some fun with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Cacao's going to put the first bullet into his home alongside of the body that it puts down. Pink Crutch, however, is going to see both lined up. Claims 2 in control of Garden, comes back to that on the defending side. One from Furlex on the end does shut Cacao down. He's the last member alive, and brother, it's a tough ask. It's not even a question anymore. It's just a full stop, and that stop is Panderic moving themselves to match point.
Match point, commanding lead as well as they double that lead here and give themselves 4 opportunities to close this one out. They look to topple the giants of Sicario, and what a great start to their day if they could find a way to do it on Fort and give them an opportunity to 2-0 a team that I don't think has ever been 2-0'd since I've been casting them.
Oh my. I mean, it's a good map, don't get me wrong. The Pandas have absolutely deserved the confidence and the right to earn this one as a confident closeout, but there's a whole other map to come, brother, and I know Sicario too well to say that they are counted out of map 2, regardless of the result in this one. I know you're crazy, fool, but that Vault Stash is going to have to kill the right way up at some point, sir. This Sicario squad is not going to go without kicking and screaming all the way.
They're not even out of this one just yet. You cannot count Sicario out until it says game over. And with that, we see them already putting in work early this time, finding that pick. But Cacao and Pink Crutch finding 2 in succession here rather quickly. The response comes in. Furlex to make their way through as Goes finds 1, but that ace on this snipe, it's not too many times we see people competing with Furlex on the snipe, but that ace certainly doing it here today.
That's all down to Keo. They're 1v3 to save the game. Where the Pandas, all they have to do is play patience here. That's an unfortunate step from Cacao. What do you mean?
You know, the Tarkov gods giveth and taketh sometimes, and 9-4, a commanding win here for Panderic Apex. And great stuff to them, or for them rather, for this epic game showcase here. But as we had mentioned, Sicario, they're going to be hungry for that revenge, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get it.
I'm just watching that back in the instant replay there. I can't believe it. Cacao's not dead. It's honestly, I think both bullets hit the metal railings when I'm looking at it back again. It's just really unfortunate shots there because it looked really good. I mean, they fire the lasers on, and I mean, even looking at it back again, it does. Oh, both bullets clip the top of the door frame. It's just a fraction too low. Minute differences, and wow, ladies and gentlemen, the Panderic Apex squad have been the first team in a long time, although in a showcase setting, given to take a map off of the Sicario squad. Well done to the Pandas.
Yeah, and again, now they give themselves an opportunity to be one of the first teams, at least that I've ever seen, take 2 games away from Sicario. But that's all talk at this point because Sicario is the best team out there at the moment. I mean, I think we can comfortably say that as they've won 2 championships now.
I mean, I don't know. There's a whole load of tournaments going on this year, okay? And there's a whole load of seasons for each of the regions too. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold out my thoughts on that one just now. And I'm going to say, we shall let them
Yeah,
cook.
huge shout out to BSG as well for listening to the cries of the people and releasing this wonderful battle pass and all of these skins as well. But as much as I appreciate Cracked shouting me out and showing me that love, we all know who the king of the Tarkov casting realm is. So it's my honor to be sat beside the legend himself over there, the King Yapper of Cracked. But we're gonna take a quick look at this next matchup here. Of course, the second game where we left off during those technical difficulties, but still on the side there for Paneric Apex. We got Bakizi, who has been replaced by Ping Crutch Crank, at least momentarily, Cacao, Codex, Rapid, and that Ace.
And though we are today in the booth, humble, saucy wisdom, all right, the both of us do not and will not be able to continue doing what we love to do without all of the awesome people around us, and myself, and I'm sure Hort would agree, without each of us by our side to be able to support each other and continue this awesome adventure, we just wouldn't be as good as we really are. That bomb going down quickly is from a grenade and a gunshot at the same time, and I believe, Mr. Hort, we see the first shotgun we've been talking about.
Getting to showcase all of it out here already. Back and forth, a 2v2 though, and it's Hayes Bazalia finding that one, who I believe is Kiyoshima, if I remember correctly. But there is 1080 on that snipe, finding Zaki, and right back to a 1v1 we go.
Now, keynotes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that is a Valde. On a spear, the ACOGs have been brought to play. And you are now able to be a little bit more malleable with those slightly less damaging bullets. So the choice of scope here potentially going to pay into the favor. Kyo's going to jump across, get himself up to the top med. Right now, that Ace has one bullet and a dream, and that bullet's going to find its way into the dome of Kyo. Apex, 1-0.
I mean, that Ace has just been so much fun to watch on this again. Just, again, we talk about the situation awareness. He hears him up top. He doesn't get overzealous and pop off that first shot on that first peak. He steadies the aim, cool, calm, and collected, and just like that, hitting the headies. Couldn't ask for a better way to start off round number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to get Hort in the team at some point to play some arena soon. I want to see this man on the ball. He's got the mindset for it. It's great to hear somebody with the right perspective and the timing. So I wonder what wonders the stash could bring to the stash inside of arena. Soon to see, maybe. The sniper behind the curtains. Speaking of behind the curtains, Rapid's hiding behind curtains here with his Enforcer kit, this RPK and the lovely olive sight to match the, the headwear this time around. Not sure about the colour taste, Hort, but definitely visible nonetheless.
I'm not a fan of olives myself, so I might be with you on that one, but just dancing around here. Kind of surprised we don't see Furlex on that snipe, but you mentioned it, rocking one of these shotties out here. Making a little bit of a change here to start out on that defensive side, but they've got a player advantage to work with. Rapid still looking for that intel. Not sure if they're aware that Furlex is lurking on the other side of this jet.
Do you know what? I'm not a fan of olives either, funnily to say that. Especially not on pizza. Like pineapple, however, speaking of which, a little bit of bulletry. The piranha, not quite pineapple, comes out of that shotgun straight into the face of one and then fastly traded back as he's folded from the generator. Codex has one with a 995 coming out of... Is that an X60? Wait a minute. That's an X16. We've got a light scar. Okay, I didn't see that coming. It is. Ooh, okay. Now this is a really interesting perspective. So this is a Mark 16, so it's a Scar-L, which is 5.5, 6x505. Wait a minute.
I think that's the class that Rapid was talking about earlier, where you can put the 995 in, you can get a full mag at 995.
This is some cook, and they've really gone wild with it. Because the assault class has got on Ping Crush. Is that a mutant? It looks like it too. Oh, that Ace is just too good. Ghost comes around the corner and goes wild. Codex is down. Ping Crutch for one.
I think it is the mutant. I think he's got the PP ammo in there as well.
There's no way he gets this up in time. There's no way. There's no way. He's gonna get... Oh my!
Oh. What was that shot? I mean, did he even ADS right there? It looked like it
I
was
don't think he
almost all
did.
hip fire. Like he just peeked, shot, and looked away. I thought, oh, he didn't hit him and he's going to get the defuse. But no, the shots hit. Insane for Panderic Apex. And he got a 2-0 start here.
That's crazy. I thought the guy on top apps has really thrown it out by not aggressively swinging. I had completely forgotten, of course, of that ace factor from B plat. But you're right, Hawk. We drop in on the perspective for a fraction of a second. Doesn't even get down the scope, and he obliterates the person. Milliseconds left on the clock, too. That was a close one.
Again, I know it's just a showcase game, but man, this makes me excited for the big leagues to start up once more. And for the ASPL as well. Rapid finding that first pick. Friendly reminder that you got just until the end of April 18th to find your 5-player roster, that sub and that logo, to get in on the action here as Miyagi-Do will find Cacao and some trades back and forth here. Now on a 3v2 as Ping Crutch finds one, but that ace says, I can do it with the nades too. I don't always need that sniper, baby.
And it's nice to see Sicario having a little bit of fun with it. If anybody's paid attention to Zaki's class, will notice that this man is running an STM in marksman with a scope, which is definitely a thing. I mean, it's PvP and it's definitely going to hurt people with the kills, but it's not quite as devastating as that big faulty bang. Down goes one. Ping Crutch follows up for the final finishing blow, and the Pandas are going to claim another.
I mean, honestly, that's been one of my favorite things about Zaki since I've come into the casting of the Tarkov action is that they're always running weapons that people don't typically run. You know, we saw it with previously with the MP7s when everybody else is running something different. Now we see it with the STM here, but I think he's just a fun player to watch. And even though a weapon might not be as viable as another one, he always seems to find a way to make it work, and it always seems viable in his hands.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's like, it's a case where Zaki is a non-meta warrior, right? He likes to just try something a little bit different. Just test the perspective for people and ask the question, really, does it matter what you're using? If you're that good with a gun, you can click heads. Not really is the answer. This is going to be a tough test for him, though. Now, this is where the STM is really going to struggle into picks. One goes down, great fire, the second up top, the third up top. Oh, boy, it's the Moon Squad. All 4 members are there. The last one on the pinch from Furlex as the Piranha takes out the 1080 by 1080 diff.
Got plenty of time here to work toward deactivating that device, but Rapid on that pick there has the shotty with some Piranha as well, finding the 2-piece. Cacao on the Ash 12 will get 2 of their own as well, and Panderic Apex 4 rounds in a row.
That is the loud sound of thunder, right? The thunderous hooves of the herd coming running towards your site, and I mean, Zaki made it look like it was Tim Possible, but it turned out to be Tim Potential and then Tim Clap, because there was a lot of tin can men that ran out of the top of that abs position, and, well, they thoroughly enforced their opinion that the zone was theirs. Zaki allowed to deter one, but not much more after that. So do the Pandas have the same form of explosivity towards this A site? Because it looks like they are coming with fury in their eyes. Oh, this is going to be quick. Oh my, what's that going to be? Oh, big pick from Keo, though.
Yeah, huge double from Keo. Get a couple answers back here from Panderic. Now Rapid up close and personal. We'll find that pick as well. Ghost did get one onto that ace during that fight as well to bring it back toward that 2v2. Zaki on this marksman. Has been spotted here as well. Fires a few pre-fire shots. Can't make it up the ramp, though, as Rapid able to chop him down.
This is where Zaki comes into his own. Fake plant, full plant. Down. PvP will hit if shots are landed. We'll be able to take out both of the last 2 kits. The Enforcer comes through. This is the one that he's going to struggle to kill. Back and forth, he jumps like a rabbit. He goes, and the second he gives up, Zaki tries his own, and Rapid says, nope. Good night, Sweet Prince. He took a couple of headshots there. You can see the swirling icon denying that PvP the pen.
Yeah, I think Rapid knew that he's on that STM and said, okay, let me just go out here and have a little fun and dance around. So, I mean, doing a great job bouncing back and forth, eating up a ton of those rounds, being a bullet sponge, but able to survive and weather that storm. Comes out the victor on top, and that's now 5 in a row here for Apex.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like hammer time on these Enforcer kits, because the do-do-do-do, can't touch this. Every time, honestly, you see an Enforcer come out, back and forth he goes, whether it's jumps, hops, leans, or just quick pushes, that kit. Get through, grenades go off as Andrew touches the fight is explosive and exciting. Great shot from Big Crutch on the land as the feet hit the ground. McAdoo gets the second. Kakao gets the third. Names are coming so quick and so long, I can't get them all out. Between the breaths of the sentence, Kakao takes Zaki out of the back of sight. Coming, the last member alive is Kiyoshima, as he's got a 1v4 and only 35 seconds to try and reclaim this.
Already looking to put in work. He does find the first one onto Kakao, and a little bit smaller of mags here with that spear, but the bullet power capable of dropping many bodies here. And you look at the situational awareness from Kiyoshima here. Great peaks, great crosshair placement. He's able to find Pink Crutch as well, and still 15 seconds to work with. This is something that's feasible. Panderic Apex needs to make sure they play together here, and now he's going for the jumping 360 no-scope. He almost hit it, but wasn't quite able to do so, and now you can tell they're definitely having some fun with it.
Yep, and that's going to be the blade brought out, the knife comes out, and the time runs out as Sicario, although swinging that sword with strength, they're not going to do it in time for the defuse. It's a lovely bit of banter between the guys inside of the show match, and this is what you want to see, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we turn up in the masses for an Epic Games showcase, because the guys are putting on an absolute spectacular.
Only took about 3 whacks to get through him there with that tiny little knife, but nonetheless, able to find that kill. A little consolation prize, a little cherry on top, even though they didn't win that round. 6-0, phenomenal start here for Panderic Apex. Sicario, although having some fun with it, hasn't been able to find a way to slow Panderic Apex down just yet.
That's an insane swing from Codex out of the defensive position. The ambulance, the follow-up from the Sicario squad, though, does reclaim bomb in a second. Rapid's back for the fold, though, to finish out the complexity by coming back with his own Uno Reverso. 2 back for the Pandas. The last member left alive is Miyagi-Do. And is he going to Miyagi-Do, or is it going to be Miyagi-Don't? Oh, no. Aga-do-do-do, puts pineapple from the tree. There goes the explosion, but it doesn't make him a cup of coffee. Off he goes round the side, 1v3, and he's finding himself keeping health only on the favor until the Enforcer comes through.
And Rapid on that Enforcer class is just scary.
That mask is going to be everybody's nightmares for the next couple of months, I'm telling you now. Wait, Hort, somebody says you sound like you'd have an insane mustache. I wonder who would get that kind of an idea from where? I just don't know. Maybe this guy's psychic, though.
Yeah, them hotties, they're always out there lurking around, you know. We appreciate them to the max, though. Panderic Apex just one away from match point already, though. And again, I know Sicario's just having some fun with it, you know, including this STM, but talk about having some fun. The heat-seeking grenades coming out from that ace.
That second one on Generate would have died to the second grenade as well. Had he not already been bolted by the gun tower? Top's giving a jump to death as 2 go down. Zaki defying with that STM. He's going to find one. Codex does manage to get the gun off the plant in time to take out Kyo on the flank. That's what the heck is that?
Unreal, Cracked. I mean, some of these shots are just insane, but the fact that that actually connected on the first one. Zaki, though, putting in work with the STM. He's got 3 on the round, and he's looking for a 4th.
No, jump shot hits. That ace actually tags him. Zaki's going to be bleeding a little bit now, but the STM! He comes out king! PvP for the clutch! Can't see the bomb for a second, but although he's dizzy from the dancing, he is going to have time for the defuse. What a great round.
You know, we've heard people say it before, Tarkov players don't really look up that often, and so, you know, he was checking all around. He thought, hey, let me just look up once. There it is, found it.
Absolute cinema. Apollo's right in the chat there. Great shot as he does manage to hit the square center of map, but it's not quite good enough to knock him down. Instead, the STM. Punishing bullets pay. PvP.
Yeah, I mean, even finding Rapid early on in that gun battle as well. And so we saw previously in their gunfight, he didn't fare so well, but was able to get a little vengeance in that round as Sicario will look to slowly trudge through the trenches and bring this one back. But they've got a lot of work to do here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. All the way on to Brazil. A good shout out from the Panderic Esports member there in the chat. Also packing the punch and keeping the chat rolling. Folks, it's been great to see everybody here today from taking part in the Channel Point Redemption. So placing your bets on which one of these 2 teams is going to come out on top, to just being here and keeping the hype. A great effort from the guys in the chat today and the competitors. But what a game we've had from this one, Hawk.
Yeah, it's been a fun and exciting series. We got to see a smorgasbord of different weapons here, and that ace again finding an early nade kill, this time on the Burlex, but Rapid's in great positioning up early, finds the pick. Hiroshima unfortunately takes out a teammate. Codex Rapid continuing to clean the clocks. They fall like dominoes, and Pandaric Apex will be sitting at match point.
That Enforcer with a shotgun with Piranha seems particularly strong, I'm not going to lie. Rapid is having an absolute time of it right now. Running around, not caring about his life and just flapping that gun whichever way he so wishes. Match point to the Pandas. And we're back on board with the big bad boom boy. This time he's got more bullets on the kit though. 67 LPS in the magazine this time.
Lewis is going to find that first pick on the Rapid. Goes will find Cacao, and Sicario looking to turn things around here in the second half. As Furlex does find that ace on the backside of the play here as well. Codex beginning to shift forward. Potentially looking for this long lurking flank. Will spot one. The shots ring out, but they don't find a body, and that spells trouble. Furlex from behind will take out Codex.
Yeah, the Gold Corinthian mask versus the Gold Corinthian mask there. The two celebratory, gladiatorial masks from being first place in their respective HPLs. I'm not going to say that from that fight. One comes down, and the end of the nose claims the last prize of the life from the Pandas. Sicario strike their second, and Furlex with a fat three-piece is going to raise himself up the kill table a little bit.
I mean, if Sicario could find a way to send this into overtime, it would be absolutely nutty, but starts one kill at a time, one round at a time. They still got to get through the juggernauts here of Pandaric Apex, who's been on an absolute tear throughout this game here as well. Some of that confidence, I think, spilling over from 4.
I think the one thing that we do have to say from the Sicario squad, especially seeing as how they have been tested throughout these undefeated streaks in 2 HPL seasons, is never say never. This is definitely not over until the last point on the board. We said it about the last game, we said it about this one. Shots come out from that generator position though, and that Piranha kit is punishing people again.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, for some reason, I feel like it works better than the Flechette, even though the stats don't seem to be as good. But I found myself using that a lot for setup as well. The Piranha round certainly great at chopping down the competition. For Pandaric, they have the one player advantage, and they've got this man right here, that ace, who's just been a menace. The arch nemesis over here for Sicario on the snipe.
Yeah, I mean, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a show match, okay? Neither of these two teams are going to be taking this seriously for the point of the scores on the board or anything else when it comes to the rounds. They've got great show of usage of the utility there. A counter plant nade coming out of that ace. You know, the folks on screen are giving everything they can to show you what is available within the new stuff this time around, as well as showing some of the kooky factors and customization of the kits, including that nice neon beanie we see being worn the first time around by Zaki. Now on site, Felix and will be spot planted. I mean, his first pick here, this becomes difficult. Oh, okay, never mind. Wow, Ping Crutch is just way too good on the shot. 7 and 14. Consistency is king. And that ace is going to put him down.
He said, you know what? I'll be the one diffusing that, good sir. And Derek able to clutch up the showcase here, 9-2. And again, you know, it's great to see a team be able to topple Sicario, but, you know, honestly, they were, you know, out here having fun. I guarantee you if this was in a more competitive situation, you'd probably see Zaki on something other than that STM. But, I mean, still found a way to get several frags with that thing, including a couple big 3 and 4K pop-offs.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of perfection from performance out of the utility there. That ace looking over towards the site, sees the bomb walk on, goes, like, can't park there, mate. Not today. Pops that one down, and that goes to the floor. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. The Pandas are going to take it home from the showcase with a 2-0 victory. But overall, we have to say thank you to both teams for the performance across both maps, because we got to see a large variety of everything that people can get involved with now this game has been released on the Epic Games Store. Folks in the chat, if you are here for the first time checking out this content, firstly, a thanks to the Battlestate Games Squad for the ones that have brought it together. Secondly, thanks to the Pandas in Pandaric EFT that have allowed us to bring this showcase to you guys. And thirdly, go check out the Epic Games Store where you can pick up your copy of Escape from Tarkov Arena so you can get into the arena and show us just how good you might be.
Yeah, you've got 8 days to harness those skills and get ready so that you can get a 5 main roster, that sub, and that logo, so you too can participate with us in the ASPL coming at the beginning of May. And again, a huge shout out to both Pandaric Apex and Sicario as well. A lot of these pros are very, very busy on top of putting in the practice and the work on their own. They have real lives, they have jobs, they have things that they all have to do. So for both of these teams, willing to take some time out of their day, come spend it with us, and showcase some of the talent and skills here is truly wonderful. So a big shout out to everybody involved here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get to see Sicario continue their undefeated streak in the competitive scene. All right. They may have dropped a match or two in the show match today, ladies and gentlemen, but let's just say they've probably not got their gears locked into that full potential like you would see. We've seen Gear 1 and Gear 2, which you do in a show match, but if you're a One Piece fan, then you'll be looking forward to the full fifth step Luffy and Joy Boy when we get round to the real action coming soon. ACS, HPL, many more things along the lineup in the future, as well as the Elim tournaments, which are going to be exciting to watch out for. All right. That on the horizon, folks. We still have our finale for the day to join in with. And game three brings back the Pandas for the third time, but this time it's a different opponent. Hot, who have we got matching up for the hotness in our third stack of the day?
Well, you're probably going to know these names. But it is Pan X versus Unknown. On that Pan X side, deceased, formerly known as Oberst Tom for his Prince era, the Apollo C, a player that Tom has been playing with for as long as I can remember. These guys are almost inseparable, I feel like. I wouldn't be surprised if they're twins. We've got Tizzy, Europe, Ghost of Customs. Tizzy and Ghost of Customs both we recently saw showcasing the skills in that Panda Cup 4v4 on that block party we had. So a lot of talent here on both of these teams. Unknown, we talked about Undead Essus, Cruisin', Strix, Ice Leak, Watchful. I mean, it's like 5 shining stars on one roster. So again, it's hard to pick a standout player when you're coming this packed.
That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to join me. Go reach into your pockets for that Epic Games Showcase ticket that you received just by being here, okay? Because it's final call at Gate NA. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to board the plane. We are going over the pond from the EU region to the home of the mustache himself and the magical men and women from the NA scene. All right, we're going to get to see what the Americans have got when it comes to the new meta, as well as everybody else that's been mixing their minds in there. Okay, obviously myself dipping my toes in a bit of coaching for the American scene. I know that there's other influences from the EU side. Obviously, Coach Max for the Pandemic squad that works with the baby pandas, and the American pandas. All right, all three versions, okay, of this squad gets some great insight and help from Coach Max, and we're going to get to see that European look on an NA take versus an NA squad that is NA through and through. Okay, the unknown lineup that has one been established in the NA scene for an exceptional amount of time across different rosters, but also some new up and coming talents. You mentioned Tizzy FPS and Ghost of Customs. I mean, Hawk, they're going to be two stars to look out for today. They're going to be here to show us that they've got a lot to bring because they are very talented players.
Yeah, honestly, I was incredibly impressed with Ghost of Customs on that Panda Cup 4v4. We saw him pulling off some crazy flanks and getting some really good kills on a couple of the pros in the scene. So for me, if I were to pick out one player in all of these that's new to the scene, it would be Ghost of Customs that I've got my eye on. And that's not to take away anything from Tizzy, equally very, very talented. But just from that previous experience of that Panda Cup, ever since then, I've got my eye on Ghost of Customs, and I genuinely enjoy that name as well.
That's you know what, I'm glad you said that. There's some names out there in the game that really do just it enthuses you. There's some of these like you can tell there's a bit of a story behind it. They've spent a fair amount of time in customs at one point. They probably were like smoke in the wind, hiding and navigating their way through these PvP fights. Maybe considered a bit of a PvP Chad in the base game before Arena came around, or maybe there's an entirely different story about it altogether. Hey, you never know. Maybe in an episode of the podcast in the future, we might get to ask that question. But what we are going to get to see is how it plays out in the gameplay today. And we got to see it, like you said, 4v4 Panda Cup tournament. First time we've been back to block in a while. That was a nice take. I'm going to be honest with you. It was very good to see some block gameplay. I'm interested and excited in the future because I know there was once a whisper in the wind that maybe block might have a blast gang look. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. So Forgiving a little bit of my emotions on my sleeve there, but definitely enjoyed going back to block. This time, we're going to get to see them taking up. I'm curious as to whether it's going to be fort again. I know a lot of teams have picked fort today, and I think the weapon meta suits that well because of the Ash 12, the Enforcer kits. Those close maps do stifle the bolties as well, which are a very good combo to those Enforcers, but we've seen teams use the bolty exceptionally well on fort too. Thoughts?
I mean, honestly, yeah, we saw Cosbu, we saw that Ace both dominate on Fort with that Bolty. So I think there's a couple places where you can kind of set yourself up for some better sight lines to make it a more viable weapon. I love Fort, so if we go there, I'll certainly be happy about it. But yeah, I again, I'm just well, I mean, I wouldn't be sad if we saw a map that we haven't seen today, like Bay 5 or something like that either, just to, maybe throw a little wrench in the mix. But yeah, kind of going back to Ghost of Customs, for whatever reason, when he was playing that Panda Cup 4v4, I kept thinking of Mel Gibson in the Patriot movie because he was like the ghost that's just always lurking around, killing people. And so that's kind of where I kept putting that reference to. But nonetheless, I mean, 10 extremely talented players out here to duke it out for this last showcase match of the day. And I don't know if it's true, but I heard that they saved the best for last over here in A.
See, we'll see. Just a little bit of
Just
info for the
playing.
guys in the chat about PanX, just to bring them up to speed, so that everybody's completely confident with what's going on screen. Couple of names on screen, not going to match necessarily what you're expecting. So Europe is going to be riding the account of Seiko user 2289 today. All right, so Seiko is Europe for you guys at home, and then anybody who's been a fan of the Minecraft saga and everything that goes on within Minecraft, including the movie just released, will recognize that Tizzy is riding the name of Chicken Jockey. Okay, so any of you Minecraft fanatics out there will understand the Easter egg in that one. All right. As well as this, a little bit of a fun fact for you all at home, a surprise in store for the show match. The entire team of PanX is going to specifically showcase something for the Epic Games Showcase here today. We talked about it, Hort. The preset kits, okay? Many a day we've been frustrated. You didn't get back to your chair in time from going to the kitchen to get a drink or going to the bathroom, and you didn't lock your kit in. And you stuck with a preset kit and you were like, for 6 rounds, getting very frustrated at it. Gone are the days, theoretically, the preset kits have had a bit of love, and therefore the Pan Squad, I believe, is going to try and showcase
Oh,
the
cool.
upgrades to the presets in game one.
Nice. Okay. I mean, I like that. I like that little twist on it. But I mean, after what you were just talking about, there's only one thing I can really think of, and that's lava,
I know.
chicken, Steve's lava chicken, crispy, juicy, you're having a snack, super spicy, lava attack. Anyways,
It's so good. It's
it
so
is,
good.
it is, it is good. And speaking of great things, what a phenomenal day here today at the Tarkov Arena Epic Game Showcase, of course, brought to you by ASPL in collaboration with Pandaric. And there is your Pan X Squad Deceased, Apollo C, Tizzy, Europe, and Ghost of Customs.
Going up against your unknown side today, ladies and gentlemen, your reigning HPL NA champions, Undead Essence, Cruising, Strix, Ice Leak, and Watchful, all taking to the stage for your enjoyment today. Is it going to be Error 404, Team Not Found, the unknown factor, or have the Pandemic X squad got what it takes to put X marks the spot on top of that unknown lineup? We're going to see very shortly, and boy, oh boy, is this going to be a good one, Hot.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And now that you've blessed us with a little bit of that extra knowledge there, the fact that Pan X is going to be showcasing the presets here in game number one, I'm just a little bit more excited to see what all that entails here as well. And as you mentioned, kind of upping those kits so you don't have to worry as much about choosing one of those, or as you said, stepping away for a moment and then realizing that it has been locked in for you for those first 6 rounds. So excited to see some of those changes showcased there.
I'm actually, I'm really impressed. I want to just, we're going to deviate away from the scheme of the game for a second to talk about something in the chat. Actually, Nuke's come in there with a comment regarding the Minecraft movie that we are making so many references to. For those of you folks that are a little bit lost to why we're losing our mind and going all Jack Black on everything, well, Nuke says, guys throw popcorn, everything. All right. It was on the news this morning, Hort. The movie has been creating scenes from that chicken
Mm.
jockey specific scene where apparently it's such a good pickup from the game. It's such an Easter egg that people have gotten so wild as a reaction in the cinema to just when the chicken jockey appears, throwing popcorn and everything else in between, apparently at the cinema screen. Folks, I don't know what it is, all right, that is driving everybody to throwing stuff at a screen when the chicken jockey comes on screen, but sort it out. Like honestly, I
Bunch of
don't get it.
immature knobs, bro.
Exactly, yeah, like for real, guys. Like it's a chicken and it's a zombie riding a chicken. It's cool, I get it, but it's definitely not worth wasting the popcorn over. Okay, that is good food.
Right? And then all the hardworking folks there that have to go through and clean all that up. I tell you,
Thank
it's
you.
kids these days, man. Ugh.
You can't teach them. You can't show them. You can't even give them a good movie without them throwing popcorn at them. I mean, for Christ's sake, okay? It's just pixels, folks. All right. And yes, we're moving on the movies now, but that is what it is. Back to the action, though. Okay. Tizzy, of course, going to be using that name, Chicken Jockey, for those at home. And then, of course, Seiko user is going to be Europe for those of you at home to keep on top of that. Okay. It's going to be a slamming squad. All right. The unknown team Hort that's come to the table today is the team that won the title. All right. It is that strong squad with the upgrade. All right. Watchful coming on board since. And I am very excited to see whether the Pandemic squad can take them out. I mean, uh, unknown are exceptional. Okay. There's a there's a shot. Okay, a still screenshot in the Epic Fails Esports Discord from a scrim between them and Unknown, where Decoy thought he'd jump peak sandwich and challenge Strix that he wasn't going to hit that headshot. Okay, the resultant crumpled body of Decoy in cubby between the box and sandwich is you can't give players of this caliber that kind of an option. All right, so I'm expecting today that the Pandas are going to have to play out of their fur to be able to beat these guys. Really.
What's with all the new Seikos now? Wasn't there a Walker and Seiko on 8 Sins as well now?
I believe, okay, and this is where I'm going to get crucified, all right, but I believe Seiko user is Europe, is Zachrix. I think it is all the same person. I think. I could be wrong, all right, but as far as my knowledge lends to me, I'm pretty sure that is the same person, just under a different name. Okay, pretty sure.
They all gotta go buy new Smurf accounts now that, it's released on the Epic Game Store. They got it on the launcher, now they need one on the Epic Game Store as well, and so, now they have that ability that it's been released a little bit earlier today, so, certainly an option for all of you out there, and again, you've got until the end of April 18th to get your 5-player squad, a sub, and a logo together to get out here, participate in the action, have some fun, have a chance at a 800 dollar prize pool or maybe pounds or euros, I guess technically. But nonetheless, it's an opportunity for you to get out there, get into that competitive scene a little bit, get some opportunities, and just look to better yourself and have fun while doing it.
Absolutely, and Connor seems as confused as I am. Connor says, "No, they're different people." No, we'll find out. We'll get the question asked and confirmed for you guys, and we'll let you know whether they are different people or same people. And no, one person does not use more than one account, as one person owns more than one account. That's right. Players got to the point where they were that enthused in wanting to play the game, but struggling with the queue times that a Smurf was the way. Having a second account to be able to practice on, test new theories, try kits out on is something very common, and we're being confirmed that Zach and Europe are two people. Okay. Don't know what's up with the names. Apparently, Hot Sauce was right. He's sniffing the broth ahead of time. He's reading the future, folks. But the Seiko from the 4v4 Panda Cup is not the same Seiko here today. So this is going to be Europe, and Europe and Zachrix are different people. I'm confused.
Yeah. Or maybe we're being lied to. Who knows?
At least we
Nonetheless,
know Tizzy is chicken.
yes, Tizzy is chicken. We can confirm that. Deceased is deceased. Apollo is Apollo. And 7 is the 7th number.
Technically, deceased is Tom. Tizzy is chicken. Seiko is Europe, but Europe is not Zachrix, but Seiko is. And if you manage to fall all of that, then maybe you should be on a pro team because I think I'm about dizzy and lost already.
He said if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C, right?
I mean, but surely on Blast Gang, C isn't a point, so A can't equal C. So A must not equal B either with them being different points. So A equals not B?
Dang, that's a tangent for you.
So here we are. We're the jockey of the chicken jockey. Riding the perspective, cruising, rocking the kick called Cold Street. Look, oh my god, he's gonna get a hold of the way. It's two! He has two, the big bully bullet shot dead for three! It's over! It's done! The round's gone! Well, it's just devastation. The two big guns knocked out two pieces. Because I'll raise you both for third. 12 is the bully on the day.
I mean, what a three-piece from Undead there. That was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we saw the big guns putting in work. We like the concrete custom loadout there as well. But, man, that Ash 12 putting in the work here, finding that three-piece. And, well, that's an early round here for Undead, or Unknown, excuse me. That was over as quickly as it began, I think.
And, ladies and gentlemen, Unknown have decided to shake and handshake the gentleman's agreement, also all on preset kits. Everybody displaying the beauty in the game right now, and the choice you can have without even needing to build one of your own. Undead Essence 2 on the Ash 12 Apollo. Rocking an SR2 M9 is there with the SP6. Watchful finds one back onto Apollo. Chicken Jockey, Dizzy trying his ever so hard to deal with the two outside. Backup though does come through for one, but that is going to be an Unknown round again. 2-0 so far. These rounds for are going like thunder.
I mean, Undead has been a menace out here. 5 kills in just 2 rounds. A 3K in the first one, a 2K in this one, and just showing exactly how viable that Ash 12 can be. Yeah, there's not a ton of rounds in the mag. Yeah, it does have some crazy recoil at times, but when used properly, it can be an absolute game changer.
Absolutely. So you've got 2 preset kits being shared by Deceased and Ghost of Customs, the same one called Red. Folk for Apollo, Concrete, word by Seiko User and the Chicken Jockey. We've got Stinger, a Python, a Leon, and a Jaeger out there. Sleep with the first. Undead takes a second.
I wonder if that's based on Jaeger's favorite kid is Undead. Chicken Jockey will find that trade back. Now with the big guns putting bullets downfield. Finds a 2-piece before the flame is snuffed out by Watchful. And another quick round here for Unknown.
This is just becoming a battle of the battle buses. Each of these two teams are squadding up as 5, and just all 5 men are coming to clash. It's honestly really funny to see which of the two teams with the tanks are going to be able to make it out alive. I mean, the Concrete players so far are doing a good job of diffusing the initial chaos, but we've yet to see any one of these big guns come out with that famous 3-piece to finish off the action.
Because it's kits, at least they've got 100 rounds in the mag for these big guns, so they can certainly put a plethora of bullets downfield should they so choose to do so. Ghost Customs lingering around here. We'll spot him because, unfortunately, doesn't get a single one on that run by there as well as Finboy Strix able to find that one.
Yeah, you got shout outs in the chat from the Turbo Bear. Honestly, that default Enforcer slaps, so that's the Concrete kit that we see cruising there putting to use. Yeah, even comments from the community saying that it's an exceptionally strong kit, and Chicken Jockey's also going to use his Concrete to slab his way through one of the defenders.
Yeah, you almost don't even need that LPS and have that full mag there. I mean, I think they're rocking the BCP FMJ, but still, with that many rounds downfield, we see Sleek finding Apollo there as well, and Sako, the lone member once more. Unknown has been quite the dominating force here to start things off.
Yeah, the Unknown squad there decided to stay relatively safe in the attacking spawn. Once they managed to take the whole ground, both teams swapped sides and then they turned into go spawn defenders, the new version of Power Rangers that you've never seen before. Suddenly the attacking side becomes the defending sides.
Yeah, that just goes to show you the confidence right now of Unknown. I mean, they have no issues playing back, and again, it's a showcase, so you know, you can kind of run around and have some fun with it, but I mean, it's working for them at the moment. This nade will go the distance, but nobody there. Everybody kind of headed toward that A site at the moment.
Here comes the bomb and here comes the boom. This is going to be an alley blast again, or are they going inside the front door? Uh-oh. slammed off. The shots from Chicken Jockey are good. Cruising goes down. Into the office. Two. Fanboy finds the third. Falling to the floor. He doesn't know where he's gone.
Yeah, Chicken Jockey didn't realize he ran by there. Went the wrong way. Sako, though, will be able to clean up that kill as Sleek fires one back onto Apollo C. And that will have a player advantage for Pan X, but that's immediately equalized out here by iSleek. Undead lurking on the other side of this smoke here as well. And with those footsteps, he should hear that audio cue on the pressure up into the face, and it's Sako to find Undead. Now on a 1v1, and Sleek doesn't have a ton of health to work with.
You ready for the wall back? Once he figures this out. 3. Sleek is playing on the edge of a knife here, deciding that having that minimal health is the time to go, and unfortunately that is the time to go, and round and round he goes. A little bit of a cartwheel off the bomb, and Pan X are going to claim the round.
That was the last round on the mag there, too. Before he made that final peek, he had 6 bullets left when he went to find that defusal. So able to hit him with that final one, but that was a 4K on that round for Sako as well, putting in work with that concrete class.
That's some pretty good bullet economy, is that? Remember, these classes come with 100 bullets. 4 kills, about 25 bullets a kill. Bearing in mind he's down to 6, means he's put about 30 a kill in beforehand. So that's some good economy and some good shots. I mean, you're not going to be able to hit the headshot every time, but dealing with 4 players is a very well played round.
Yeah, I'm not rocking the strongest rounds either, so some of those bullets will be eaten up by that armor, but Deceased will find the headshot. Can't stop that one. Gets a second one on to Watchful here as well. Strix looks to peek out. We'll find Deceased and an answer back, but still down by a player.
Yeah, plays a really good time in there, actually managing to get themselves into a good position. Almost past the teammate as he steps across fire. Undead. And just pick one back onto Ghost of Customs, while Sleek is getting a bit slick with it from the barrels of the jump peak.
Stepping into the crosshair of Undead. Can't quite thread the needle there, though. Swats to the side, finds one. Can he get the second? And he does! From hipfire to ADS, he'll collect the head once more, and Unknown is firing on all cylinders.
Is that 10 and 3? Undead in an absolute tear. Do I hear Undead coming out of early retirement? Question mark.
I'd love to see it. I don't know why it ever would retire with those kills.
Would that make him revive Essence at that point?
I mean, yeah. And they are just putting bullets through the smoke here. Nobody's on the other side just yet, but they are not shy about putting bullets downfield. As Chicken Jockey's gonna find an early 2 piece before being traded out.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Speaking of revival, somebody's going to need reviving if those members are coming down mid that aggressively run into the face. Hanks, and they do end up running into the demolition derby out of the Pandas, and that's going to claim them their second. Oh, it's all right bringing the Thunder down mid, but you've got to bring the Lightning too, and you've got to be able to see your enemies to be able to bring that Fury home. A smoke well placed at the bottom of mid actually dissuades the attacking side from going for a plant, and instead, it's all-out brawl in the mid lane.
You're going to bring the Thunder, you got to strike with the Lightning. Joe Dirt certainly knew what he was talking about, but Unknown not able to capitalize that round, and they still got a nice commanding lead here. Pan X would love to see him win out here in this final round of the first half. I'd love to make things a bit closer as we get ready to switch sides.
Do you think this is going to be another one of those slams on the A side, or do you think we're going to play it a bit slower? And when we swap sides, are we going to see a similar form of assault from the other squad? I feel like this gentleman's handshake has been well held in the sportsmanship in the showcase. First goes down, Street gets a good pick, Watchful on the dodging. God, works. Somehow that doesn't delete the second. He goes to get the third, he just goes down with a slow kill feed. He's dead to someone else instead.
Yeah, that second shot was just dirty. A quick snap to the head. Now Chicken Jockey. All alone here. As that concrete class, which is just that, concrete. Shots ring out, able to find the first one, but Watchful lurking around is there for that secondary swing from behind. The pincer play comes in, and Unknown will gather another round.
Yeah, concrete is like a source of stability at this moment in time. We're going to see the big swing. There's a play out of Watchful in the corridor. One bomb goes down. Second shot just so stick and slick. The irony in that is how ridiculous those shots were. they still weren't quick enough to beat Cruisin, who was the one that actually got the killing blow on that second. Absolutely wild scenes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm enjoying the fact that both of these teams decided to go with that full set of presets across the board here, at least for game number one. But it really kind of showcases some of these new additions here from BSG as well. And so, new skins, new additions, new changes, metas swapping out, a lot of awesome stuff here happening with the release of this new battle pass as well. Unknown 6-2, a nice commanding lead here as we swap sides, though. It'll be up to Pan X to reel this one back.
We've got a couple of new ones out now. So Carbon, Apollo running that one. Boron goes to Customs on a shotgun. Orsis, Sundead Essence on the AWP there. Sleep for a nade and a gun kill. Two members down, cruising for the third. Here comes the noise. Oh my word, we're jumping over the bullets of Watchful as they move on to site there.
Well, we can continue to hear those bullets ringing out across the battlefield here as that plant does eventually go down. Ghost with a shotgun, gets caught off guard here by Sleep. Now shots continue to ring toward the point, but he can't connect. Watchful. Was he the one that was on the jump shot there?
That looked like a left to right jump shot to me, so that looked like an insane play out of Watchful. No, that was Sleek jumping left to right on the assault there. I had also in the same mindset as you, but Watchful is on that Enforcer, and I would be extremely surprised to see that kit moving that freely.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because there was another teammate in the background shooting as well, so I wasn't sure which one got credited with the kill, but that jump over, I mean, we were talking about cinema earlier. That was just picture perfect.
Love to see it. Oh, here we go. Sneaky plays for the shotgun. We get past. First challenge is not able to be successful. That is unlucky from Ghost to Customs. Good effort.
Chicken Jockey cruising, finding a two-piece, and with that, got that two-player advantage here. Undead trying to pressure forward will eventually find Sako, who's traded out now by Chicken Jockey. And Strix able to answer back. They're going to take that round. We were hoping to keep an eye out for Ghost of Customs, but unfortunately, Ghost having a little bit of trouble here in game number one. Still looking to get warmed up, I guess.
I mean, you're going into two concrete classes. This is the oppression that the double Enforcer class brings to the game right now. Is if you put two of these classes together, you send them into a site full force and back it up with pipe and ammo, you're just going to take ground. That's just how it works.
We'll see him quicken that pace once more here. Unknown looking to explode toward this B site. Free fire through the wall. Nothing really finding out just yet. Great team communication as well. We see Unknown jumping across the teammate. Stop shooting, but it's Undead. The first to fall here to deceased. Strix will find one, making a second as well. Chicken Jockey able to answer back, and Plaid Stripes in the kill feed once more.
People left alive on either side. Chicken Jockey gets very unfortunate not to have enough bullets in the mag to hit the final one, to not cruising down. One gun is down. Goes to Customs, finds one on cruising. Actually, the spins, the shakes, the bakes. Look at him come go. Watch him turn. The moves are ridiculous. He hit the DPI up to over 9,000, and Dragon Ball Z-esque. He goes Super Saiyan on the spot.
I mean, it was getting wild on the catwalk out there. Watchful gets jiggy with it, then still finds Customs here as well, and somehow still standing. Finds a ton of kills to wrap it up. Watchful 3 on the round, 12 on the game, 3 MVPs for Watchful, Undead, and Sleep in this first match.
Phenomenal replay at the end there, showing the disco moves from the dancer themselves, able to do the dirty in the doggy, just giving it a little bit of a, back and forth. We'll do the little swing, give it a 360, a spin, a turn, a pirouette, and a thank you, good sir, good day. And we walk off and the curtains close. Some great effort again from both teams in the show match, and a spectacular spectacle from the first of our best of two for the last game on the day.
Hit him with that Soldier Boy, Superman, that fool. You know what I'm saying, man? You watch me. Yeah, honestly, that's Soldier Boy told me that's his favorite caster in Tarkov.
Oh.
Cracked, it's
that's
you,
insane.
baby.
Yes, this guy, guys. Oh my! You can tell he's a dad, folks. You can tell he's a dad, and a proud and exceptional one at that. What a way to close a game out. Yo, I'm not gonna live that down from now on, am I? It's
As the rat master, I got 6 little rats running around. So I am a certified dad, okay? I got 6 little rats running around here. So rats on top, baby.
what
Oh.
an exceptional game. Are we gonna see more from game two? Right. Here's the one. We've had Bay 5. We've had Skybridge. We've had Fort. We've had Bowl. You've got a 25% chance to get it right. What's your pick? Which one of the 4 maps do you think we're going to for the final map of the day?
Just because I love Fort, I'm gonna say Fort.
Do you know what's crazy? My instinct also said Fort. I think you might be right, but I'm going to go against the curve and play devil's advocate on this one. I actually would like to see a Bowl, personally. I really like Bowl as a map. I think the way the new kits have come out, it actually allows for a little bit more Vector, MP7, SMG kind of style of gameplay. I think the Enforcers are a little less strong in there because the Balti has more leverage over positioning. So I would really like to see a ball match. We've absolutely enjoyed every second of this concrete class. I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to get to see much more of it. But from the showcase for me, the cherry on the cake would be a submachine gun smash. All right. Everybody sort of agreeing to get on those close quarters CQB guns and really just duke it out aim for aim for aim over the map.
9 SMGs and 1 shotgun.
I'd even take like 2 to 3 shotguns, 5 SMGs, and maybe a ball tier 2. I'm kind of down for the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah, honestly, I would be happy with anything. I'm kind of a Skybridge hater, so I just I would tend to stay away from that map. But to each his own, and so to speak. I just feel like on Skybridge, most of the action always happens around the A site. It's a lot easier to smoke off those lines and kind of make that pressure. You don't see as much around that B site, so I feel like I would like to see just a few adjustments to the map of Skybridge as a whole, and I think we would see a little bit more of it. But at the core of it, maybe I'm just a hater when it comes to Skybridge because I know there are a lot of players out there who do genuinely like that map.
It's a good map. It does require a lot of tempo understanding. It definitely requires a heavy amount of game sense. Um, there are teams that play extremely aggressive through sandwich and through bench on the defending side with a very good lurking player that plays their life very well. That is extremely hard to counter. Like if your fundamentals are not good as a team, just getting out of hole, getting off the KFC stairs into position to hold against sandwich, and then initially fighting out that sandwich and bench aggression can be very hard to weather as an uncoordinated team. Then once you've gotten past that, the concept of Skybridge is that's not just like you've accessed site. That's not even close to site yet. You've done one of the 3 steps you need to actually be able to take that A site on Skybridge. So from an attacking side, where most teams favor having the control of the game, shall we say, by being on the attacking side, that A site on Skybridge very much takes that thought and throws a question mark over it to say whether the defending side can take that tempo into their own hands by just being aggressive on how they defend. I think we might have potentially a little bit more
I'm back.
time before we rock into this next game. About 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, getting them loaded into the lobby here. So taking a quick look at those rosters on your screen once more, but wasting no more time. And Cracked, ask, and you shall receive, my friend. Right back to the bowl we go.
We did get the ball. Not so many of the SMGs. There's a couple of bits and bobs out there. They're a little bit kooky. Love to see it. Sleek drops a grenade onto the Seiko user. It's going to be Europe. Not allowed to be around the world in 80 days. Instead, on the bench for this one. Undead. Gets the better of Deceit, but then Ghost of Customs has his back. Now, playing the Ghost of Sight. Sleek gets picked off by a teammate as Chicken Jockey backs him up. Cruising.
Cruising on that snipe. Putting in early work. Apollo, though, able to find an answer back as Cruising will snipe down the Chicken Jockey. And now Apollo alone, looking for that jump shot. Not able to connect just yet. Cruising doesn't have a ton of health here to work with, though, so still an opportunity for Apollo to find a clutch.
On the site, Fancy's actually going to challenge at the right time there. Tries to jump left and right away from the Cruiser. Does have his refrag from Curtin, and that is going to close the round out. Unknown take the first, 1-0.
A little bit closer of a round this time, though. I mean, we saw both teams kind of just stampeding at each other like two bulls, not wanting to get, but a little bit more of methodical action here in the opener of Bowl. So back to some of those custom classes as well. A little bit more business here on Bowl.
That's it. Cruising using the teammates' head to stand just a little bit higher so they can get out of spawn at the quickest time possible there. I don't think it really does that much of a difference and maybe getting like one step extra ahead of the game, but I guess every step counts as Cruising trying his best to fly rather than cruise, I guess, this time around. The aerial jump shots early on in the round.
For an early kill here in this one, Unknown. A much slower pace as they look to push forward here. We can see that rotation one there in spawn, heading back toward the A site. Two in the lane, two toward med side here as well. And Undead pressing for the quick snap of the wrist, and he's able to find Deceased.
Seiko user, however, is going to be a TRG user and claim the life of Watchful in a trade. Sleep. On that Uzi, not managed to get to the action yet. Undead's going to find one of those. The back side of this site is being challenged from both sides. Undead for Seiko. Chicken shot onto Undead. Bomb is being planted. Apollo finds a kill onto Strix. Brother, look at how many magazines this Uzi has, by the way. It's 6 magazines.
Ammo for days. It's nice when you're trying to pre-fire around corners and things like that. Give you maybe a little bit of an opportunity to find more chances like that. Smoke's coming out here, though, as they look to find a way to be able to pressure forward just a bit. Chicken Jockey let it fly on the peak, and a nice shot from Chicken to find Sleek here. Now they'll have that player advantage to work with. It's Cruising on this sniper class, so as long as they swing together, they should have some success, but wisely he's going to pull out that Uzi.
Yeah, the shots were just disgusting from Kizzy there. He's going to step into the line of sight as Cruising pulls up the MP5K. That PvP we talked about. Good night.
Good weapon. Such good rounds. I mean, honestly, the recoil, everything, it's so easy to handle there. Just like that, as long as you put that crosshair up toward that face, you're going to have some success there. So usually not the ideal situation when you're on that sniper class to be alone in a 1v2, but when you got a sidearm like that and you can put it to good use, Unknown just shows you all things are possible.
I mean, this is what the VSS previously was, right? And I don't think any of the marksman players are too disappointed in the fact that we now have a slightly more compact version of a little pocket rocket to for those close quarters scenarios. And I think that PvP now being displayed by Sleek on the Scout class, just, you know, bringing mags in for the show match to show what fun potential it has. He jumps into the face of an adversary who does put him down. The Ghost of Customs, the Ghost of the Smoke this time is Undead. Takes that away from him after he claims 1 life. Now, Generator bound, fighting Deep Tower, and Undead on this very bright yellow optic there. Not necessarily trying to stay hidden, definitely staying present. Bye-bye.
Oh, beautiful nade at the feet of Undead to take him out. And I mean, speaking of staying present, I saw where Deceased talked about how they love running that white jacket. They're really not afraid of being shown out there. They want people to know that he's coming. Pressing that W key is Cruising. Find a few shots from the snipe that don't connect. Chicken Jockey will be able to solidify that, and Panex will take their first round.
You know what this one is, don't you, Hawk? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, this time it was the chicken, but the egg turned out to land exactly where it needed to.
Yeah, that's one explosive egg.
Do you reckon that's a hard-boiled or a soft-boiled one?
Ooh, that's tough.
Because he didn't cook it too long. I want to say that's probably a soft poach. It's probably a boiled egg, but with a soft yolk. A well-cooked.
Yeah, poached.
Masterclass, that's it.
Poach the egg and poach the player. They were left with nothing. Looking like Lieutenant Dan after that nade hit their legs. But look at another opportunity here in round number 4. And Strix going to start off with a nice pick here onto Deceased. So one down for Panex. There's the jump Sleek looking for a bit of intel. Has that nade cooked as well. But it's Chicken and Undead to find a pick a piece. Excuse me.
Yeah, Chicken does a good job of realizing that nade's coming in, but he doesn't manage to get out of the way of it. Sleek still somehow managed to find the rotation out of Chicken Jockey where he'd gone to hide from after picking up that kill Deep Tower lane. And now this leads us to a very interesting scenario where Seiko User and Ghost Customs are, I mean, in sport. Speaking of which, doesn't matter because Green Control claims the bomb. Second by, oh wow, by the vehicle gives his position away actually. Now, 2v2, this is completely possible from both sides here. 2v3 shortly as the third rotation's coming in. Bombs going onto site. Oh no. Oh no, they broke their ankles. Are they doing this to come back in on the B site this way?
I was hoping so because I feel like that push through that tiny connex, that little corridor there, could be a very devastating one. So a little bit better of an angle, but they're still checking over here on the other side as if they're maybe not aware of what's going on. So with that little peek from Ghost, they'll have an idea that it is the other direction here, but a little bit of an easier push from mid, but not much as Cruisin will find that first snipe on the Seiko, and now it's all down to Ghost of Customs. He knows that flank is coming in. The spray comes out, and it'll connect for one.
I think it's a smart choice by the Pan squad, right? Take away from that green choke point. As Ghost of Customs is going to be the Ghost of Death shortly. That was a ridiculous shot to Dome Cruisin out of this one. 1v1, 10 on the clock, and he's coming in Strix on top of the vehicle. Strix is going, oh my, it's not even Strix, it's Sleek. I'm lost because I lost the bullets. I can't believe Ghost of Customs just won that. You're kidding. Sleek on the off angle on the vehicle is like about 2 millimeters too high on the entirety of the frame. Wow.
Ghost of Customs has seemed to work out those first game jitters that haunted him in the last one, and obviously maybe not as used to the preset they were rocking as well, but certainly putting in work here on Bull. And with that, we'll see PanX be able to grab another round and look to tie things up 2-2 here. So a very nice, close, and even series once we've gotten off of these presets and into maybe some of these guns that we're a little more comfortable with.
Brother, I am shook. I don't think I can remember a time I've ever seen Sleek miss shots like that. Like, Sleek is known for being absolutely on it at the moment. From watching him play recently, this man is on a mission when it comes to arena, so that is a very rare drop of the ball there. That being said, what a reaction from Ghost of Customs. Absolutely there was room, but I mean, still 50 shots and they were insane in the timing.
Oh, it's PanX to start this one out with an early pick here on the Cruisin. Sleek slowly make their way through the smoke as this device does go down here for Unknown as well. And they've got great control of the 8 site at the moment. Chicken Jockey will put some rounds through the smoke. He's able to find Watchful here as well. And things get a little bit more feasible now for PanX.
You're not going to see mistakes like that happen often, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm sure the guys will be having an absolute, you know, whale of a time laughing about it. As the Unknown squad are now taking it to the PanX boys. That being said, a little bit of overconfidence on split from Unknown. Maybe they're just not necessarily stressing too much about taking it too seriously. Actually finds the Pandas being able to claim that. Look down from Apollo as he fights on hop up, but the 1-for-1 trade is going to leave a last member alive in Apollo with time to defuse the bomb. PanX move 3-2. I'm going to be honest with you, Hort. I love to see the competitive side of this, but I also love to see that people are not taking it too seriously. I do like how both teams are really having a good bit of fun with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we talked about earlier. That's the core requirement here for today is you got to be able to have some fun. But honestly, I mean, PanX, it was a 5v3 at one point in that round, and Unknown popped off and really brought it back. They just couldn't quite find that final one as well. So PanX, after losing that first game, we're looking to grab a dub of their own here today. We've seen a 1-1. We've seen a 2-0. We've been blessed with all the worlds here today, but now we're ready for round number 6. Everybody back on the battlefield as we see some of that utility being used here.
And with this being a showcase and it being a brand new meta, I did wonder if Undead was going to show us shades of old and whether we were going to see always Dead Essence, what with the meta change, maybe throwing him a wrong one. But Undead, again, seems to have adapted to the environment and is currently thriving. A 7-5 scoreline alongside the rest of the squad doing very well. Apollo finds one on to Watchful. Undead, we were speaking about just there, does shut Apollo down immediately, though. And it's just a 1-for-1 to open up.
Chicken Jockey says here, you can hold that slightly off to the right, though. If that would have been a little more to the left, might have been able to find a pick as deceased. We'll find one on the Strix to give PanX that player advantage once more. And A little cheese to get topped off here as Sleek finds Chicken Jockey, who appeared to have the upper hand. The snipe shot rings out but doesn't collect. It's Sleek and Cruisin' who combine for 2, and they turn the round around.
You spin me right round, baby. Right round, right round. And like a record now, there's only 25 seconds. Wow, oh my word, what a shot that is from Cruisin' as Goes to Customs gets denied any thoughts of keeping himself on site for long.
Back and forth we go. It's been a game of tug of war here on Bull, and once more we're tied up 3-3 as both of these teams chomping at the bit to take that lead and hopefully find that little bit of a cushion that we talk about, that 2-round lead, but nobody able to do that just yet as we get ready here for round number 7.
2 minutes back on the clock. Out of spawn we go. You got to keep an eye on Cruisin'. Been doing some damage on the marksman class. Also running one of these as well, but on the 2 times, this is actually probably, and I'm not a fan of the scope, this is the one time where I think the scope actually has a good bit of playability, is use that CRG at a semi-mid to close range with that kind of a scope and still be extremely effective, so I think it suits playstyle. Seeing the smoke coming off the site, Strix knows there's one on. Wow, great shot from Split though as the TRG puts Strix down.
Once more, they continue the game of tug of war as Sako is able to find Sleek here, giving that momentarily player advantage. Apollo able to find Watchful here as well. The device has been spotted, and Apollo, but a 2-piece of their own, will wrap up that round. Panex back up on top here by 1.
Rounds being traded back and forth. One goes in the lead, the other takes one back, and the other team takes one and goes back again. Panda's having the better of the momentum so far when it comes to who's taken the lead the most, but it is even Stevens for the majority of the game. Kill feed as well feels very, very fairly spread. Not one person really on either team that's letting the side down. I mean, Deceased having a slightly less active game than anyone else. Currently only 2 kill participation in his team as he finds himself on the receiving end of some utility. Might lend us a reason as to why he's struggling a little bit in this one.
Yeah, it's not very often we see Tom with only 1 kill. Apollo C has 10 on the board already, but Sleek with another nade kill to give Unknown a bit of an advantage, and this early utility is something that can really set some teams apart here.
It's also being able to execute them so quickly, right, Hot? You can grenade a lot of different places, but it's being able to throw it without having the enemy team being able to react to it, because once the nade becomes a common throw, you get used to not necessarily running straight to your position, you bait the nade out, you run in and then run back, so on and so forth. So it's a whole other concept, but whilst we are joined here today by many teams from different divisions and regions, we saw the Div 2 match earlier on, Div 1 EU match in the middle, and now a Div 1 NA match for the show matches that we're doing for this Epic Games Showcase. It just displays everything and anything that is coming into the arena scene with all of the updates. The game is now out on the Epic Games Store. The battle pass has come to the game. The meta has changed because there's been some drastic differences. And as we're seeing on screen here, we've got these two teams fighting tooth and nail for the site. Unknown currently have themselves a 3-for-1 with Apollo up on top med trying his very best to make the actions per minute turn into kills per second.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, and the tug of war continues once more as Unknown will be able to take that round and tie things up once more. Guys, if you're just joining us in chat and you're liking the action, maybe it's something that you would like to be a part of as well. Well, you've got until April 18th at the end of the day to come with a 5-person roster, a sub, and a logo to create a team, get in the mix, and find a way to compete on that first day on May 2nd of 2025. So we'd love to see more teams enter, more familiar faces, new faces, old faces. It doesn't matter. We'd love to see more people out here duking it out.
That's it. And I mean, the ASPL is a scene that, you know, is supposed to be that interim. It's that first step off the ground, you know, from your random ranked games to actually some constructive competitive gameplay and an environment to try and develop in both personally and alongside a group of friends. You can challenge yourself against other people. It's a chance to get yourself some prizes in there, a prize pool split among top places, as well as a chance to prove yourself and maybe be reached out to by a HPL level team, picked up as a sub for future development. So, you know, the ASPL trying to be a leading flagship and helping generating new talent into the scene alongside that which the Hunt Premier is doing in leading that competitive scene at the top level from the HPLs across EU, so on and so forth, as well as all the extras that come in between. I mean, Timmy does his Panderic Cup tournaments, which are exceptional too. Again, a Panderic production that, realistically, Hot, Panderic have been doing an exceptional job for the community recently, especially throughout the beginning of 2025.
Oh, it's phenomenal. They've just put so many additional stepping stones in here for these players so that they don't have to take leaps to find ways to get into the action. So, love to see it. Huge shout out to Panderic and all they do. But speaking of Panderic, it's Deceased to find Sleek on that jump over shot. Sleek was trying to find a jump over near Jen, but Deceased finds that pick and opens things up a bit for him. That rotation coming in toward the B side. If you take a look at the mini-map, though, Unknown has an idea, and they're beginning to shift that way as well.
Bomb going up top. Through apps, gonna hit the wood, watch for it, takes that Deceased. Shots down as a dead crosshair place, quite in the right spot for the time being. That hit fire up towards top apps, is gonna leave him feeling a bit rough. One thing with this weapon is you really need to be down sights to keep it fully controlled, because that hip fire recoil is tough to handle.
Maybe just a little laser and just a full send, baby. Just gonna send it. Hope to come away with the kill, and right now, Unknown, still working off of that player advantage. You take a look at the health here of Apollo, and it's not the prettiest as well. This rotation is coming toward the A site. Shots continue to rain down the field. Undead finds the two-piece. Watchful turns around, says, hey, I was trying to jump across there. With that, Unknown, I think their first lead of the day. At least in that too, sorry.
And this is going to be that delicious jump shot on Deceased that we're going to get to see here. Brought through, pop, peek, and over he goes. Don't taken. He's trying to gain information over the top of Jen. Not allowed. Deceased is denied.
Well, Unknown will have that lead here. Annex on this attacking side. Deceased. We talked to. I saw Tom on the podcast talking about how the spear he's found a way to love the spear these days. So in the hands here, as Ghost of Customs will find that first pick onto Watchful. And with that, Panex will be working with that player advantage.
That's it. And just to double down on the points we made earlier, chat, those of you that may be interested in creating a team or getting involved with a team, maybe looking for teammates, the best way to go about it, if you're not sure, there's a link in the chat. Go in the Discord, get yourself involved, make yourself known to one of the Discord mods, and they'll point in the right direction of both application forms and maybe other team members that might have reached out. If you've not got a team but you are interested in playing, you're looking for other people that are also trying to play, get yourself in the Discord, chat's there for it. The ASPL will be more than happy to help you out as best they can. Now, shots apiece as Apollo and Cruising both pick up a man on their own. Last alive is going to be Cruising as Strix goes down to Deceased. Bomb is planted, 40 seconds left on the clock.
I think Deceased had only one kill in that first half, already up to 4 now. Cruising, some pre-fire shots will ring out. Has been spotted up top here, but still able to collect the Apollo. With that, we'll have a 2v1. Waiting on the other side here is Ghost of Customs. He's going to find Cruz, and then Pan X will once again find a way to tie things up.
There's a 5.45 AK there on the marksman class with the scope being used. Trying to make a little bit more advantage out of that semi-auto fire rate to be able to get a few more bullets downrange. Nice little choice and change to the kit there on Cruising. The Undead on his own custom enforcer. Strix now running that Vector that we were talking about. Sleek's favouring the MCX. Watchful running the AK-12. Alongside of that on the other side of the pitch, we've got the Balti. We've got a Spear with an SR-3M. We've got another AK-12. So honestly, the Panex squad looking relatively similar to what the meta used to look like before and after, but the Unknown squad here with a couple of adjustments, and they've almost made some upgrades and tweaks, it seems.
Tweaks here for the time being. We'll see if they pay off. Shots will continue to ring out as these smokes are pluming away for the time being. It's actually Strix now on the Vector to find Apollo. With that, they'll give themselves a little leeway to work with. Goes to Customs, finds an answer back. Deceased with an 8 kill on the Sleeked as well as Watchful will return the favor and find a pick onto Deceased here. Now into a 3v3. Right back we go. Again, the tug of war is not only happening throughout the rounds, but throughout the game here as well.
3v2. Panex have themselves a good position for a rotation with the bomb to the other side. Both members of Unknown are spread one per site, but in good position to counter a deep push to be flat. That we see coming out true as Cruzen claims the life of Tizzy, trying to push up there. Now they're going to have a relatively good idea where the bomb's going. A site player rotates from Unknown as two join up together and start to retake. Up towards Triple, moving through Aztec. Cruz honestly stuck out here with that smoke. Really good placement from X. Going to burn about 20 seconds off of this bomb.
Still got plenty of time to work with here. 35 on the clock. The jump over. Watchful, what in the world? The shot from Watchful is good to find the head of Customs, but Taco, at a minimum, able to trade it back. Cruzen, some free fire of their own. Now up top, and Pan-X just baiting out these audio cues here as well. Really trying to play that game of cat and mouse, back and forth, just trying to buy up as much time, and he hears the pressure forward from Cruzen. A nice step peek, and a great round here for Pan-X.
I honestly think that Watchful and Cruzen were both caught off guard by how wild this headshot was, that it stopped them from being able to take immediate advantage of it. Look at the ridiculousness. What is that? What even is that?
I mean, did he hit that headshot on the jump over? Because I feel like the kill feed was slightly delayed. He peeked out for that second shot, but I almost wonder if it was the jump shot. Yeah, I think the jump shot is the one that hit him in there. That is absolutely insane. Probably the craziest shot I've seen today.
Oh, here's another crazy one. You want to see this for timing. If somebody crosses that gen and Seiko hits this shot, that's going to be a nutty one. Instead, Strix has found his way to play aggression on a different place on the map. One down, and there's the shot that they were looking for. The Balti does claim a life. Rotation enabled. Moving in towards A-plat. Deceased. Tom just looking which one he wants to nade. Goes out towards Gen. And that Gen player is deep in tower, confirming no too much pressure there for Pan. They're going to move up. Fight the next challenge, Cruzen tucks. Oh, Watchful gets the trade out onto Tizzy.
Man, you could just hear the pings everywhere. There's a hailstorm of bullets raining down. Sleek and Customs will both find a pick a piece here. Customs has taken a lot of damage, spotting potentially through the smoke there, but just that pre-fire as that device goes down. Now the step to swing, and unfortunately the device does get planted, so Undead not able to deny that for the time being, and that'll allow Sako to be just a bit more patient here, but Sleek finding that one, and Unknown will again tie it up once more.
I mean, they're in a tough spot there anyway, because if Sleek just goes and stands on that bomb and Unknown stands in, Undead stands in front of him and just mouse button one top there, I don't think he can get round under cards to curtain in time to be able to stop the defuse. I think they could probably just pressure off at that point anyway. Regardless, Sleek's an absolute demon. He decides to put bullets in and cleans the round over.
Olo, Customs, the only two players in double-digit kills at the moment. Undead, Cruzen certainly very close on the other side of things. Couldn't ask for a better final match here for the Tarkov Arena Epic Games Showcase. We are tied up 6-6 once more, and both of these teams wanting to get that upper hand. Sako will find the first pick here onto Cruzen.
That's a ridiculous shot early on as well to open up and leverage around to the 6-6. They want to try and take the advantage again. Bullet up top will knock a little bit of health off of Tizzy, but not much to worry about thus far. The slow setup from Unknown actually is allowing them to rotate to come and reinforce this A site. Oh, Jen is getting heavily pressured here too. 3 members from Panderic setting up to try and push through, but look at the crossfire set up by Unknown. Sleek and the Hopper player both strung together, but Chicken Jockey and Tizzy is going to find both of them on the entry.
Watchful able to answer back, but Chicken now on a 3K here as Tizzy has Unknown in a Tizzy. Finboy Strix letting the shots sing out here from that vector. Not able to hit the mark just yet. Sako fires one through the smoke. Just a few centimeters off here. We'll spot him. There's the peak again. The shot can't quite connect. Pressuring forward. Strix finds Ghost, but it's Apollo to reel it back in. Pan-X now at 7, just 1 away from match point.
Got to find a way through this Balti from Unknown. Seiko user been able to find a pick every round so far where the Pandas have been able to put the bomb on site. It's not consistent every round completely. There's a high majorities of the round that Seiko has had that first blood fall in their hands. The question is, and this is what I'm expecting as we see both nades pulled early from unknown, what's the response? And the response normally is, let's throw a couple of spawn nades and stop this Balti from getting somewhere comfortable. Can they find this box? This is such a hard bit box to nade. He nearly hits the shot too. Oh my word.
I think they were a little more aware last time. Not allowing him to hit it twice in a row here. Cruising. Tucked in toward the A site here. Apollo again just being patient as Deceased will find another nade kill. Chicken Jockey setting up the smoke and most likely the push to come shortly after.
Yeah, I mean, the Balti shot onto Generator did tag Sleek in the arm and just take a little bit of his health off, but that information gathering goes to Deceased, and Deceased lines up the aerial airstrike inbound. And it comes as an 8 goes. Tricks though with the Vector for 2-piece, shuts down the rotation, goes to Customs, is going to claim the life back. And slow this round right back down to a 3v3. One team is going to try and find a pick from here. We'll start seeing that tempo picked up again, but Derek have a much better setup. Oh.
Big pick from Apollo there as well. We see Watchful trying to come in from the backside, but Chicken Jockey waiting patiently. We'll find that one. Now it's all down to Cruising here. And a 3v1. The jump shot's not good as they fall to the ground in an early grave here. Cruising has to get through 2 more of these defenders. Time on the side of Panex here. They just have to play together. They can certainly bait out a lot of time if they opt to choose so. The jump over, but Apollo was waiting deep. Cruising does get taken out here, and Panex will find themselves at match point first.
That's it, absolutely. I think the Pandas probably said to Tizzy, off you go, mate, have a go. Finish it in some style, because we've got 3 members left alive. The bomb's planted in a good position, and they had a good anchor out for it. So, you know, definitely having a good game here. Tizzy, the last couple of rounds, popping off with some quick kills. But the Pandas as a whole playing very well as a team. You've got 15 kills on Apollo, 10 and 10 on Seiko. Goes to Customs on an 11 and 10. You know, all 3 of the top fraggers there, really putting an even amount of damage out. The unknown squad not too far behind as well, though. And are we going to see this pick again? That flash has got onto Strix. He is completely blind now. Thankfully, backup is here on the round. Strix going to run away as far as he can.
Dead. Almost able to find that shot on that Panex player who was jumping in the background. Deceased. Looking to make sure there's no flanks coming in just yet. Slowing things down just a bit here is Panex on this attacking side. That device still lingering toward the A site at the moment, but you can see on the minimap, Panex playing very far back, just seeing if Unknown is willing to get a bit overzealous, a bit pressy here, and see if they can find that early pick. But both teams right now displaying great patience.
Just waiting for this Balti to go off again. This is the one thing I've been thinking. Oh my word, you have no idea how close that is to killing Undead right there. It does tag him. He does take a tiniest bit of damage, but it's only an arm shot. And therefore it does not claim the life. However, the more damaging bullet of the SP6 will melt through that Enforcer quicker. Undead down. Tizzy claims the first plus for himself. Good shot off the Generator as Sleek is trying to defend his territory, but there's too many people. Whoa, full saves his life from a different angle as goes to Customs, gets his head taken off in the jump.
And what a little transfer flick there from Watchful to find that pick. Deceased will eventually snuff out that flame. Sleek, though, spotting Deceased, will return fire and seek that vengeance. Keep an eye on Jen here. Cruising, the shots ring out, but it's Sako, the PvP once more to find that one. Chicky Jockey gets Sleek as well. Strix finding one, but it's not enough. Apollo will close it out, and Panex will take one of the 2 games here on Bowl.
It's a 1 apiece, that's it, absolutely. We are split sides, an even tie, a draw, a gentleman's agreement, as it was from the start to the finish, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we from the casting desk always come to the table expecting an amazing day of gameplay. And every time it always exceeds our expectations. And today has been another example of that. To the both teams that took part in the last game and all 4 teams also earlier on today. Again, W from the casters. All right. Some great work, some exceptional matches, and a great showcase for the Epic Games release. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, again, we can't thank Battlestate Games enough. Epic Games, ASPL, Panderic, Timmy, Lattis, Max, I think Step Sherpa was in the background here today as well. I mean, the list goes on and on. There is so many people behind the scenes working very diligently to make sure this runs as smooth as possible, and they often do not get enough credit. Cracked and I, we get to pretend to be pretty and come out here and yell at the mic. They're back there pressing all of the hard buttons, making us look good. So, seriously, a ton of thanks to everybody behind the scenes because there is way more work than you might ever know that really does truly go into this. And we have those hiccups, those technical difficulties like we did with Discord earlier today, but everybody patient, still willing to fight through it. We appreciate everybody hanging out and chat through that as well. And I think as far as day one goes on an Epic Game Showcase, it's been an almost perfect day.
Technicalities are technicalities. Let's be real. It wouldn't be Tarkov without a technical hitch along the way, but we've come to love it, okay? And just like we love the pain of every day's worth of a gaming experience in Tarkov because of how hardcore it is, let's be real, we all love a little bit of fire in the ocean, okay? We keep it spicy, but we kept it real with you as well. And you guys kept it real in the chat the whole way through that technical difficulty. So again, we're going to extend a thank you to you guys in the chat for your top tier effort today, okay, ladies and gentlemen, because without it, we aren't going to go anywhere. We wouldn't succeed. All right. Hanging in there, being a great hype crowd, and being so sportsmanlike throughout all of it. All right. Supporting every one of the teams, regardless of which region it's from today. Thank you. Again, a great job. Also, I mean, it wouldn't be a production without yappers. Okay. I'm fortunate to be blessed with the gift of being able to talk too much, okay? I'm also sat next to another human being who's also mythically talented at this skill too. Okay, so a thank you to Hort for having me next to him on this broadcast. I am looking forward to taking part in the tournament, but I'm more so looking forward to Hort leading the charge on the casting booth for the first season of this ASPL because I'm going to look forward to watching through my VOD reviews every day just that little bit more to be able to hear the Hort on the source.
It's always an honor to cast with you, Crack. There's nobody better here in the Tarkov scene. So, I just, I take my notes and I learn my lessons and just strive to get better. But it's an honor to be a part of ASPL. I look forward to seeing the season starting off. And honestly, it's great to get to know the community over time. And so there's so many more familiar names now. And to get to, an opportunity to cast you in action, I think is going to be a lot of fun. So it just goes to show, how close this community is, whether it's players or casters or people behind the scenes, everybody kind of weaving together here amongst the scene and making it what it is today. So certainly very appreciative of that.
I'm going to double down onto that as well, folks. All right. I'm not necessarily somebody who considers myself an exceptionally competitively skilled player. Okay. But the ASPL is a building project. Okay. And I am somebody who thoroughly believes in being able to help in building in whatever aspect possible. Okay. So I'm taking a step out of the seat to get involved. If you've got friends out there, people you want to make a team with that might just have what it takes to come and have a go at the ASPL, even if you don't maybe necessarily think you're going to be so competitive. All right. You want to come and put on a show for the audience at home. You've got a different take on how to play Escape from Tarkov Arena. The Semi Pro League is still looking for teams. You have until the 18th of this month, okay? 8 days, all the way until the end of the 18th to be able to get a team together and submit to come and play. So please, folks, get your teams together. Let's help build this environment as a unit, as a community, and we can enjoy some of this great content that we have to say a massive thank you again to Battle State Games for, folks, as well as Pandemic EFT coming together to put on these amazing productions in celebration of the Epic Games Store release with Hot Sauce and myself here. The Pandas are working hard, but Battle State Games are constantly cooking.